Join us on the Path Radio Mix online. And to get there, type in thepathradio.com. That's thepathradio.com. And enjoy free streaming music all day long. That's it. thepathradio.com. All right, now let's get to the main show, the Monthly Social Podcast, with me, your host, Guido Perino, as you go on with Guido. Welcome to the early August edition of the Monthly Social Podcast. Thank you for being here. I've got Chris Mclernon of the band Kinell. You may know him from Saigon Kick and other awesome musical adventures. Then we catch up with voiceover actor Lili Wexu, who gives us some insights and special offers. And then a real-life princess, Maeve DeVoe, joins us to talk about royalty and her music. Then we take a look at a couple of hot topics like Twitter versus Threads and artificial intelligence. I hope you're ready. It's a fun-filled show, so let's go. Before we do that, let's hear from one of our friends of the podcast, Johnny Prosciutto. Johnny Prosciutto, artisanal Italian homemade products. We make it like our grandfather, or as we say, Nonno. Naturally cured, old-fashioned, and delicious. Order online at johnnyprosciutto.com. And we deliver right to your front door, where the only thing left for you to do is enjoy it with your friends and family. That's johnnyprosciutto.com. Again, thank you for being here with me on the Monthly Social Podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're a new listener, welcome, and I hope you get a chance to subscribe and join me on an ongoing basis. If you're somebody who's returning and has subscribed, thank you as well. I really want to get into the content. I got a lot of material here that I want to get through on this show before, and a reminder, take a little break. So that's why you're getting the early August podcast. So we just launched the July one a couple of weeks ago. You're getting the August one a little bit early, and then I'm taking a little bit of a break from recording, but we'll come back with another episode in September. So hopefully you'll enjoy these two, and we'll catch up again in the fall. So let's get to our first guest. I've got Chris Mclernon. Let's go find out what that's all about. I'm honored to have our special guest, iconic Saigon Kick, Cold Sweat bass player, now also on lead vocals, bass, and guitar with the brand new hard rocking band Kinell. Chris Mclernon, alongside bandmates Colin DeBrawl, also on guitar and vocals, playing with a foursome of drummers, including Barry Kirch, Mark Danzizen, Rick Sanders, and Eric Rickert, as they take us through the journey of rock that is Crash, Burn, Rebirth, or should I say rock and roll that is Crash, Burn, and Rebirth, as the boys are back in town. Chris, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. How you doing?
Doing great. Good. How are you? You doing well up there?
Yeah, it's very warm actually. Nice hot day up here, just north of Toronto. So how about you in South Carolina?
We are. It's a little cool for this time of year for us, and I'm not complaining because the South is humid and hot. So, like I said, not complaining at all. But it kind of will. The rain will get in your way if you're trying to do a bike ride outside, which I was trying to do earlier. But these are minor problems.
Are you a biker? Like when you say bike, you mean like Harley or Honda or like?
That was some of the best advice I got as a musician: is don't get on a motorcycle.
Did you ever?
Once. And just went, what? This is really fun, and it's really stupid. And no, can't do it. No. I mean, I had too many friends who've gotten in accidents like that was that. So you know what? I'll stay off the motorcycle. So to answer your question, yeah, it's mountain biking. So just hop on the mountain bike and go.
Mountain biking is all right. Yeah, I did a bit of that. I don't do it as much anymore. I had I came close on a near disastrous experience on a mountain bike because I was going down this path, and I didn't realize it was in a wooded forested area. Right. I didn't realize that at the end of this other side of this path was a cliff that dropped out into Lake Michigan.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
that'll get your attention.
It was moments, like just a split decision where I kind of jumped off the bike. The bike went skidding. It didn't fall off, but close.
and thankful for a tree that was nearby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
No, mine was much less dramatic today. Just
Now, I've been shooting for a motorcycle, but I'm not allowed to get one.
Yeah, I just certainly at this point, I'm just like, you know what? There's probably other things I can do for excitement. So, I surf and I do other things like that. So,
Oh, wow.
And with surfing, you got sharks in the water. So it's one of those rare sports where you can be eaten on the field of play. So, it's worth the risk. I'd rather fight that off than fall off a motorcycle.
Has a shark followed you like Fonzie, like the old days, or?
No. I've seen them, but he hasn't followed me. But dolphins have, and
cool.
And dolphins are big. People don't realize how big a dolphin is, and it comes up right next to you, like whoa! And they're just and they got that they got a grin on their face basically, so they're just grinning at you like, and they just their friend does it going the other way, like yeah, I know what you guys are doing now. Okay? Get the guy in the big yellow surfboard. He thinks we're sharks. No.
So are they just like what? They just want to play along, or they just like?
Yeah, they're just curious, just hanging out. They're happy to see you, and they're just hanging out. Like you got pelicans out there. You got to watch a jellyfish; those hurt when they sting you. That really hurts. But yeah, you got stingrays. You got spinner sharks, which will flip out of the water and literally spin. So yeah, it's fun to be out there in nature.
So, like your surfboard, is it like the big Kahuna? Is it like the?
It's a 9-foot modern retro, is what they call it. So it's got a single fin.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, longboard. Yeah. So I never was really interested in the kind of the crazy antics of the shorter board. I just literally like the endless summer kind of get on the longboard and just cruise.
Chris, what does a longboard do different than the shortboard?
Longboard, picture the difference between driving a Cadillac and a Volkswagen Bug. It's all about maneuverability. So longboard is like what they call like a classic feel to it. You get up and you just ride the wave. And they always talk about style. Whereas with a shorter board, it's much more gymnastics, snowboardy, motocross kind of, crazy body twists and flips and that sort of thing. Whereas I just want to look cool getting there and not fall on my face.
That's interesting. My nephew does. He surfs in cold water, so he surfs the Great Lakes, and
he'll
be out there in the winter. Like he'll suit up and he does the winter. Some amazing shots of him. I'll die. I like just talking about it.
I've seen people that do it. They do it in Sheboygan. It's very, very popular. But yeah, you better suit up, otherwise you're dead fast.
Yeah.
And that's got to be thick neoprene, because it's amazing. You get in the cold water with a wetsuit and you're like, this is not going to work, because I feel how cold this water is on my feet. This is not going to work. And you wade in, you're like, I'm still okay. I'm still okay. And you get all the way then the water gets in and it gets in between you and the suit. That's what keeps you warm. And it works. And you're just going, this is just not right. It just shouldn't be working, but it does. And you don't freeze. Thank God, because I hate being cold. That's why I live in the South.
You know what? We should have done a show on surfing. Never mind rock and roll.
There you go. Well, I got a surf band, instrumental surf, so I can come back for that. We can do that one.
All right. And you chuckled, when at the beginning there, when I went back and corrected myself, I said rock, that is crash, burn, rebirth, and then I went back and said no, rock and roll, right? Rock
and roll. Yes, yeah. It is rock and roll. Like Motorhead, you say. Let me come out. We are Motorhead and we play rock and roll.
Man, that was really good.
It's big Lemmy fan. Rock and roll is it's a feeling, it's a spirit, it's that sort of thing. Rock is, I think, the abbreviated form. Of course, people like to, it's rock music, so someone can understand it maybe. But yeah, to me, rock and roll is peanut butter and jelly, that sort of thing. It's a set.
With you.
I don't mean to correct you either. I was just kind of adding on. You had it right, but
I like it. I'm with you. I
just elaborated.
We gotta have both. So we threw in a whole bunch of retro right off the bat here. And I gotta ask you a question, speaking of retro a little bit.
Sure.
If I'm wrong with this, I don't remember where I read this, but I was like, no way, is this real? Were you in a Kiss tribute band?
I was in the Kiss tribute band, if you want to say that. We didn't. Jamie St. James. Jamie St. James used to say, we're not a tribute band, we're an exhibit. Because at the time we had access to Gene and Paul, because Jamie and Tommy, Tommy really has access now.
Yeah.
They had done 2 records with Gene. They'd done a couple of tours with him, so they were friends with him. So they would go to Gene and Paul and say, hey, how do you play this right? Or how do you do this? Or how should we dress? And they tell them, you know, so that started obviously Tommy's career with him in Kiss. But to me, during that whole thing with Cold Gin, Tommy was the secret ingredient. His playing was just so good and so right. And the feel was right and the sound was right. So when he got in Kiss, I was like, duh, you know, who else are they going to get? And I love Bruce Kulick, great player. But if you're going to do the makeup, Tommy sounds like, if you turn your back, it sounds like Israeli.
So you did the full makeup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had hair. I don't have hair like Gene's. I don't have a hairy chest. You know, as he said to me, I was never that thin. You know, and I'm just going, well, you know. But the makeup and the makeup and the attitude, you know, that's what made up for it. You put that costume on, the makeup on, and you believe you're him. It's easy. Anybody can do it because you just immediately look at, you're just kind of doing this, and you know, you're 10 feet tall, and you're like, okay, let's go get him.
So, you know, like a number of years ago, like I got the black hair, right? And I grew it all out, and I could do the poof. Sure. Yeah, I could do the tongue. I could wear the makeup. But I had no talent. I had no musical talent. So
that's never stopped anyone in this business. You know, come on.
I was like Milli Vanilli, but it was Kiss, you know.
I love that idea.
Really?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure you can find 3 other guys to do it with you. No problem.
Oh, I don't know. Everybody else was really calm around me. So.
It's fun though. I can tell you that it's fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it is true. I like I said, I ran across it. I was like, nah, is this real?
Oh, very true. Very, very true.
You're saying it was the band. You really had access to everybody. So,
yep.
You know,
we played Paul Stanley's 40th birthday party.
Oh, cool.
Yes, Gene hired us.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So and I always like to trumpet this. I know I'm one of the few people who got paid a check by Gene Simmons. So Gene paid me.
Did you?
All of us. He paid all of us.
Did you frame it? Did you keep it? Did you keep a copy or?
No, I couldn't run to the bank fast enough to make sure it was good. Come on, you know.
Dang it.
I mean, I love you, but you know, you could change your mind on the way to the bank, you know.
I'm thinking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame artifact here, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I got my memory, and we're mentioned in Paul Stanley's book, so that's good enough for me.
Right on. Hey, you know, and we're talking about music, but how do I say Chris Mclernon without saying Saigon Kick, right? Like,
yeah.
And you've played alongside so many other iconic, you know, the Stripers, the Queensryches, the Warrants, the Extremes, and just so on, right?
Yeah.
But Chris, what do you take other than your guitar and your amps and all of the equipment? What do you take from your Saigon Kick experiences? And I hope I'm not saying something wrong here when I say to the new project called Kinell. And make sure I'm saying this right. Is it Kinell or Kinell?
It's Kinell. So,
okay.
I can tell you the origin of the name. Is this Family Hour, or can you believe shit? As I just swore. Nice job.
Well, we're already gone down that path. So
right. Oh, you're right.
We'll market parental advisory, right?
There you go. PMRC rises its head again. When we were out with Cold Sweat, we were out with Dio. We toured with Ronnie James Dio, and a lot of Ronnie's crew was British. So, because they were holdover from the Purple days and the Rainbow days and all that, and they were just amazing guys, but they were old school, yeah. Ronnie, sound checks at 5. You know, everyone sounded like Arthur Shelby. So, if they whack their thumb on something or they stub their toes, like Kinell, which is short for hell. Oh. So that's what it's short for. It's Kinell, and now because it kind of slides by everybody until they hear someone using it, like, hey, wait a minute. I was like, yeah, that's it. So that's where it came from.
Well, Doug, now I'm going to have to start using that instead of, you know.
Right, yeah, people are just like, huh? Just, oh, yeah, you know. It's the name of a band.
Is it that term or that word, is it Irish roots of some sort, or?
My version of it would be Irish, yeah, since I'm like 88 Irish, yeah. But I heard it done by the Brits a lot.
Now, I said a project. Is Kinell a project?
Well, actually, you'd asked me what I brought from Saigon Kick. Which is weird. A lot of nothing, but a lot. So nothing sound-wise, right? Like nothing sound-wise. But the kind of the discipline of like, I want to make this really good, and have the quality as high as I can get it. Because Saigon Kick, we were always very proud of the fact that we were good players and we were good live. So everything you hear on a record that we did, is the first or second take. So we rehearse it, get it sharp, get the spirit of it. And we would overdub vocals, or if, I play piano or something, I do that later because you can't do, like you said, I play bass guitar and sing, but not at the same time. I'm not Geddy Lee, sir. I'm trying, but so that Saigon Kick quality control mentality is absolutely there. And I joined the band because I loved all the vocal harmonies. So I've clearly, that was already there, but that's, people said, oh, it sounds like Saigon here. And I'm like, wow, I don't hear it, but you hear me and I was in it. So, okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting. So that you say that, because, and I say, look, we've seen musicians switch bands, right? And you have that ability to make a different sound.
Yeah.
I don't hear Saigon Kick when I listen to Kinell.
Good.
I don't.
Good.
And I'm sitting there going, how does he separate? How do you separate what you do in Saigon versus what you're trying to do in Kinell? Like, how do you, and you're talking to a guy who only knows 3 to 5 chords, right? So how do you,
just get a capo. That's all you need. Go everywhere.
I got this one. I got this.
Yeah, see, put that on the 3rd fret. Look, it's a different key. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, like how do you get in the mindset that, like, if I was Saigon, I'd be writing Saigon all the time. I wouldn't know how to switch. How do you do that?
Well, Saigon Kick, I think the rule was we had no rules. So we, on Devil in the Details, we have a punk tune and a samba on the same record. So with this, it initially started with me going, okay, if I was going to write a band, an album for the band Thin Lizzy, who I love, right, but sound clearly nothing like Saigon Kick, and I was going to make it 10 songs, in this case 9, but I have others in the hopper, and I was going to make it sound modern, which doesn't mean to sound like they were behind the times, but I didn't want to make it sound like a period piece, like I was trying to recreate Jailbreak, so like I'm gonna go for that production and that sound and those, try and steal from those songs. No, it was like, okay, if Thin Lizzy existed today, and they asked me to write a record for them, how would I do that? So it was a much greater focus. Like, okay, I know I want to go for these exact things. Guitar harmonies, bass and drums have to sound a certain way. Vocals and lyric content, it has to be a certain way. And they've got to be, kind of short, quick songs with a lot of hooks in them. So that is, as opposed to Saigon, where they'd be like, okay, we can do anything. Like, oh, let's try this jazzy kind of thing.
Right.
We'd have categories when we do a record: the heavy one, the vibey one, the quirky one, the experimental one, the one we'll never do live. So you had those, whereas this is like, no, this is guitars and drums and bass and blah, 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 just right at you.
So I get it. You made a conscious decision. You took a piece of a previous band and you said, if I apply today's technologies or today's approach to things, what would that band sound? And that was your catalyst for going, this is how I'm going to make it sound different than Saigon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did you, what brought this version of the band together with Kinell? Like, your group Kinell, how did you guys get together? What brought it together?
What started was, I wrote the first 2 songs I wrote for was Easy Come, Easy Go and What Might Have Been. So I brought him to Mark, who Mark Danzeisen plays with Little Caesar, and he played with River Dogs. But we've known each other forever. And he's from a kind of a jazzy R&B background, believe it or not. So that's very much Brian Downey's playing. So I said, okay, I want the songs to sound like this. Don't try and make it sound like Thin Lizzy. Just make it feel like that era. And nailed it. I didn't have to tell him anything. So I was like, okay, well these 2 sound good. And then I wrote a couple more and I played them for Barry Kirch, and he's like, oh man, I want to play on this one. And so that was What Have I Done? Because Barry loves playing in 6/8 time because he's really good at it, but he's really good anyway. So then he wanted to play Take It All. And I was like, sure. I mean, Barry's been on a lot of #1 songs, so I'm not going to argue with him. Like, no, let me choose this one for you. No, he's got a pretty darn good track record. So you know what? You want to play on that one? Great. Sign you right up. And then Rick Sanders was in Saigon Kick with me, and he was in Super Transatlantic with Jason and Pat Badger and Pete Dombrowski. But Rick and I have still a company that does production music for ads and film and TV. Yeah. So we wrote like literally 400 to 500 songs together or more. I mean, I think I have something like 900 songs at ASCAP, mostly for TV. So when you ask about how do you separate it, that's how. You're just going to go, I'm going this way. But And then Rickard Rickard is the main engineer at Big Animal, which is Eric Bass's studio. So, and he played with me at the Thin Lizzy band around town, and I just knew he could kill it. So he was there. He said, "I'll play on that one, all yours." So we're like we're the opposite of Spinal Tap. We keep growing drummers. We've got 4. We'll probably get a 5th one at some point. They'll all come out on stage like Allman Brothers and 38 Special and the Doobie Brothers, and everyone's gonna have to fight it out for a drum solo.
I think I'm in awe of the carousel of drummers that you have, because and I think of other bands or other albums, right? And even when a band switches one drummer, it just brings another element to it.
Yeah.
And you talked about tempo, right?
Yep.
Or that some bands will be like, okay, we're using that drummer. He can play live, but he can't record in the studio because he just can't do it, right? Like
live or something, yeah. Right. Yep.
You got 4. You're talking maybe more. Like, what kind of discipline or and I've listened to the songs, and they're all amazing in their own right. But I don't go, oh wow, they sound so different.
Right.
You've kept true to, like you said earlier, you've kept true to what your vision was. How do you do that with 4 or 5 guys?
I think with this bunch, like Barry and Eric didn't know a lot about Thin Lizzy at all. So I sent them stuff to listen to. I said, here's a reference track, think like this. But their skill level is high enough where they just go, oh, gotcha. And they might have even heard the song. I didn't know this is Thin Lizzy. Okay, cool. Dan Zeisen, he's from that era. So it's like, if you took, I don't know, like my dad, who was 83, but you threw him like in a leather jacket and jeans and loafers, he'd think he was back in the 50s. He knows how to do it. He was there. And like I said, Rickard was with me when we did the Thin Lizzy stuff here. But the idea was, and I didn't say this, but it was implicit that, it's all got to sound the same. It can't sound like you said, one guy's kick drum is huge, just going boom, boom, boom. No, we really did, thanks to Eric Bass, who mixed it, made it sound like one drummer by making it sound like one drummer. I was like, okay, we'll do this, and we'll use the same kind of EQ and the same kind of a compression. Plus, all the guitars are all the same. The bass is all the same. The vocals are kind of the same because other people sing. But we kept that consistent too, so it wouldn't be so, oh my God, everything, all the sounds, changed on this song. What are we listening to?
Right.
So there was a concentrated effort to make it sound uniform, no doubt.
And Guido, we're professionals.
This is our job. Don't try this at all.
So you've been throwing Thin Lizzy out. Why Thin Lizzy?
I think part of it is in my DNA. I can't, with the name like Mclernon, that's, I did my DNA, the genealogy, I think that's called.
Yeah. Are you related?
Yeah, I might. I think we all are. I went to Ireland, and I was like, everyone looks like a family member. It's like, oh, yeah. But yeah, I came back as 88% Irish, which I think is more Irish than Bono. And I had, the rest was like all the invading hordes, Spanish, Swedish, Norwegian, the Celt, everyone. It was either Irish or everyone who came and tried to take over the Irish. So it's like, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, I'm related to someone in Thin Lizzy, because it's not that many people.
So you were at some point you were a fan of the sound.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I loved the fact that he sounded so different, because it was a hard rock band at the time, because they called metal in the late 70s, early 80s, like it was metal, but like they thought they said like AC/DC was metal. It was like, now they're just the rock, back to the rock and roll thing. Right. And, but at the time, they were just so unique, and the guitars weren't like the Allman Brothers, who did all those harmonies, which are cool. But there's just something more lyrical about both the songs themselves and the playing. And I think that's what got me early on. It was so different sounding and I loved like Cheap Trick and Ted Nugent and REO Speedwagon, all those American bands at that time, the Cars. But Thin Lizzy was just so different. It's just so different. And they just stuck with me, because how you have that sort of, you listen to certain bands at certain times and they kind of fall by the wayside. And sometimes you go back and go, oh, wow, that was really cool. And there's the other ones that like, they just stay the whole way. And that's been Thin Lizzy for me, for certainly one of them.
Yeah, they passed the test of time, right? So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Crash Burn Rebirth. Is that tied to something or?
I think, whenever you leave your band, there's always kind of a phoenix quality about what you're doing, So the title is actually Eric's Bass's idea. I was going to call it Me equals MC squared, which is from the song Spatial Survival. But he's like, no. Your title, it's like 2 lines later. He goes, no. It's Crash, Burn, Rebirth. It's like, dude, you're breaking out. You're doing it your own way. There's your reborn motto right there. Okay, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, I like it. It works. And the cover is that an amp?
It is. Yeah.
It is. Is that one of yours? Or?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's one we had at the studio. We just kind of modified it a little bit, and looks nice and showy. I love it.
Has it got what is it? Got a nice crunch? What is that? What kind of amp was it? Was it got a crunchy? It was a
Marshall. Or it is a Marshall. It used to say Marshall on it, but we that's where we took the Kinell logo and made it look like a Marshall logo.
Yeah. No, I like it. It didn't dawn on me immediately, and then you listen to the songs, and what I miss having? I miss having the album in my hand still. Like if you listen to the past shows, I say this too often. Probably people are getting sick of it, but they're like, just go buy the album already, right? I don't mind the digital download, but I really love having that thing in my hand and flipping through pages, and I don't know.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I mean, because I've started to collect vinyl again, but I'm not collecting like stuff I listened to as a kid.
Yeah.
And like I have Wes Montgomery album, this Road Song, and it's killer. It opens up, it's a gatefold, and it's got only like 3-4 cool black and white studio shots and some liner notes by written some downbeat calmness, and like it gives you something like tangible. It's like almost like if you're listening to a story and you're being able to read the book while someone's telling you the story around a campfire or something. They're absolutely right. There's something that makes you feel like you own it more. It's not just an exchange.
It is. Yeah. It became personal, Yes. And I remember, if I like certain bands or whatever, I would have the album, and then I would, if there was, a story would run in the paper on the band or something, or I found it, I'd clip it and I'd put it with the album. Right. So anyways.
I'm so pleased that when I buy a used album, because I look, and I find a note from somebody to someone else. Like I found one where the guy was trying to talk his girlfriend. Hey, baby, I came home and it's Friday night, and let's put this record on. But they left it in the record. Another one is it was like it was a comedy record. It wasn't a kids record, but it was a record kids would listen to, and I forget what it is. And it was something. It was an invite from some little girl to her friend in like the second grade. We'd come over and we can listen to this record, kind of thing. I love looking for that stuff, and I find it.
Yeah. I've probably, like I said, now I'm a bit of a pack rat when it comes to music and albums, and on the other side of this wall, there's large cases of hundreds of albums.
Good.
I'm a pack rat, and I swear, like if you were to open it up, someday my kids will inherit all that, and they're gonna be like, what are these clippings? What did he write? What is this thing? Why does he have these?
Right. Like, you better give them some sort of Rosetta Stone so they can figure that stuff out.
Oh gosh, eh? Hey, so your new song, Take It All.
Yes.
Again, you could say, hey, Guido, you're off on this. I'm listening to it, and I hear a little bit of the Wallflowers and a little bit of Chris Rea in the way that the lyrics and rhythm were delivered at times in that song. I don't know if you've ever gotten that comparison, Chris.
No, that's a new one. It's interesting. And the great thing is I'm not getting the same comparison over and over, which I like a lot. They've all been slightly different. Like everyone's gone, I hear this or I hear this or I hear this. It's
what are some of the other ones you've gotten?
I got now you put me on the spot, right? Nice work.
I'm sorry, man.
No. I got Lonesome Dave from Foghat. I got that. I got Pat Travers. I got Johnny Winter.
Johnny Winter.
Yeah. I got there was another one from Spatial Survival. I forgot what it wasn't Ozzy and it wasn't Ronnie Dio, but it was like, and I think it was Tony Martin. It was so like, you know what I mean? So it's these odd ones. And then there's some poppy ones. Like you sound kind of like Rick Nielsen on this one. Okay, I'll take that. Or you sound like Rick Nielsen and Robin Zander put together, or you sound like Tom Peterson, well, I listen to a lot of Cheap Tricks, so that shouldn't be much of a surprise. Or Pat Denizio from Smithereens, they sneak in weird spots, and they're never wrong, right? It's not like someone says something, I go, well, I've never listened to that music, so I don't know what you're saying.
I can see what you're saying, like maybe the fact that we are all getting so many different vibes from it.
Yeah. I love it.
Maybe that is the true compliment. I mean, when you look at an artist's painting, we don't all see the same thing, right? Like we look at the painting and your influence a different way. The fact that you could do that with a song.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was one of my favorite parts about meeting Saigon Kick fans, because we'd be out by the bus and they'd say, man, I was listening to, song, fill in the blank. Yeah. And the lyrics are just this and this and this. And I'd be like, yeah. And then 10 minutes later, someone would say, I was listening to this song, same song. And the lyrics were this, this, and this, completely different than the first person. But they're both right, because it's back again to that exchange and the communication. How did it strike them? And it's once you hand it over, it's not yours anymore. So it's theirs to interpret. You can say, you want, this is what I meant today. And this one, someone's going to say, I don't care. That's not what I heard.
Maybe that's something you took with you, your ability to paint the canvas and elicit different meanings for everybody. I hear that song, so Take It All, when I hear it, like I want to run, like I want to do stuff. I feel like I should be winning something.
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah. I wrote that in mind. And I don't know him well, but I know him. Chris Jericho. I pictured him coming down into the ring, the big walk, and he's looking around, he's doing whatever. Because I'm thinking, if you get it, how do you be triumphant here without being cheesy or without sounding like, some sort of poorly written motivational speech, or you obviously read your thesaurus on this one under motivation, so that's exactly what I want out of it. It's like, and that's why Phil Verone, who did the lyric video for it, he's like, hey man, I'm thinking of going like medieval on this. And I was like, I was gonna ask about, so first of all, you threw in Chris Jericho on me, like, there you go.
Have you played alongside Fozzy? Like, did you guys?
Yeah, we've done gigs. Saigon did gigs with Fozzy, yeah. And Chris said he used to come see Cold Gin in LA.
Wow.
I went to introduce myself to him. I saw it at the NAMM show. I was like, hey man, how you doing? I'm Chris Mclernon. He goes, no, I know who you are, man. I saw you in Cold Gin. I was like, sweet. So it's and I know Rich, his guitar player, Rich Ward. But yeah.
Oh, that's right on. We're making a what is it? He's in AEW wrestling now. He's switched over.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Are you a wrestling fan?
I think you can't live in the South without being one. And Roy Cathy, who was a singer in Cold Sweat, was a huge wrestling fan. So he kind of pulled me back into it. So with that era was, with Dusty Rhodes and Jake the Snake and all those guys. But when Saigon did the Water record in Tampa, WWE or F, I forget what they were at the time, came in and they were doing a record. I know it's hard to keep track of these acronyms. Like World Wildlife Foundation? Why is there a panda down there? I'm so confused. So they were doing a record, and like Tugboat came in, and Jimmy Hart came in, and they were all just so cool. They're just great guys. They really, really were. And then we'd run into them on the road. Like we had one night in St. Louis where it was, check this crowd out. Donnie and Chip from Enough's Enough, our band, Saigon, Mr. Wonderful, and the Big Boss. Yeah, and the Big Boss Man on our bus. All of us together.
No way.
Yeah, that was quite a night. And again, those guys were fantastic. Loved them. Lovely guys.
So it's funny. Like we're spinning off on a few stories here. I had a couple of friends in university. We were down in Windsor, Ontario, which is across the border from Detroit.
Yes.
And a couple of the guys I went to school, they became professional wrestlers, and they wrestled in a lot of the more local things, but they'd get wrestlers coming through all the time. So like Ric Flair would come through and be part of the group. And I said to one of my friends, he's like, oh yeah, we got to do a show, Border Championship Wrestling and all that. And we're going to meet up with Ric Flair. And I said, yeah. So how was it? Oh, it was great. He suplexed me on the hotel bed. I'm like,
I can believe it.
This is your highlight.
Yeah, man. That's like, jamming with, I don't know, pick your favorite musician. But yeah, he's from around here. He's from, I think he's from Greenville or maybe Columbia, but yeah, you see him all the time. Yeah. I mean, he's royalty, to be sure.
Woo. I can't woo.
Yeah, I think we have to bring you into the US and make you work on the woo there.
Maybe.
That's okay.
I might have to.
We can do it. We can do it. I have faith.
I'm not gonna run for the border. That sounds too much like Taco Bell, and I just can't do. It does. So listen. So some of the lyrics from that chorus, I was like, "We won't back down. We will stand tall. Keeping what's ours. Take it all." I was like, "Yeah,
exactly. Good." to make you want to go out and run 5 miles.
So you did a lyric video. It has a battle scene.
Yep.
And it, like, if folks are listening and they got to check this out online, I think it's on your YouTube channel.
It's on YouTube, yeah. Channel. If you just type in Kinell and Take It All, it'll pop right up, yeah.
I'm going to put the link. We'll put the link in the notes so that they can do that right in the show here. Cool. Where did that scenery from the video, like, is this, so I'm watching that and I'm going, have I seen this before? Or is this something
Phil,
else?
I don't know that. Phil, since he's a video editor now, Phil's got access to all this public domain, really expensively shot stock material. So so I think he'd seen it maybe earlier that weekend. And I know where I can get these guys. And like the one scene he's so pleased with is when the band drops in. There's this guy who takes his visor and slams it down in time. And I noticed it. He's like, I did that for you because I knew you'd catch it. And then at the very end where he hits the guy's shield, that coincides with the gong hit. So there's all our little Easter eggs. But yeah, he just found that footage. It's stock footage in those libraries. And he just dug in and just found the coolest stuff. Like the castles. I'm like, where did you find that? He's like, I just went and typed in castle. Well, nice job. You found it. I'd been to Ireland and I said, you got to go to look at Cliffs of Moher, look at Bunratty Castle, look at, all these other places. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And once I sent him that direction, he was gone. He was on his way. It's
great. I loved it. And I was like, it's so cool. And I was like, did they do a shoot on this? Like, where have I watched? For a moment, I was like, was this like off of the movie Titan or something? I'm like, I feel like I watched this, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's like when we were doing the TV stuff, Rick and I would always get asked to borrow from something that they sent us. Here's your reference track, but don't get us sued. I'm like, okay. So we'd have to come up with a sound alike. I think, and I'll ask Phil, it makes sense that in the visual realm, they also have lookalikes. Like, okay, someone's going to want a medieval scene and they're going to want it from this era. So you can use it for this amount of money, and it'll look like whatever you're trying to look like, but it's not. So you don't get nailed.
I love it. That's awesome. Are you touring the songs? Are you touring the new album?
We couldn't do it right now for sure because Barry and Rick are out in Barry's in Shinedown and Rick is his drum tech. So there goes 2 of our drummers.
Right.
And people have asked, and the guys in the band's like, what do you want to do with this? Like, well, we only got 1 record. So we'd be an opening slot, and for who? Yeah. So we haven't, not the who, but who do we go out and play with? So we've got to figure that out. We've been asked, we could sure play locally for just to do that, but also just the financial logistics of getting 4 guys to go back out on the road. We probably need 5 because there's so many guitar harmonies. You'd probably need 1 guy playing rhythm all the time, or being able to put in the third. And then there's been the debate: do I play guitar? Or do I play bass? And I think I'd rather play bass because I know how I really want that to sound. And I can teach anybody guitar solos. It's not like I'm friggin' Vinnie Moore. They can figure that stuff out pretty quickly. And but the bass, I think the bass and the drums have to sound a certain way, and I wouldn't want to be looking back at the bass player going, "Oh, you didn't play that right. You didn't play that right either." Jesus Christ, you get 1? Come on. Do I have to play that thing?
Give me that.
Right. Hey man, the guy from Kinell's a dick. Now it's my fault. Okay.
Well, I was just thinking maybe if you have one of those rotating stages, Kinell opens for Saigon.
There you go. That confused everybody, right? I'm gonna get paid twice. I'll take that.
Would you do any crossover? Like if you're out there as Kinell, would you pull in a Saigon Kick song or?
I don't know. I don't know which. I think you'd always want to do one that people feels that it fits.
Yeah.
So, we obviously wouldn't do Love's on the Way. That just, trying to come out and hit people over the head with 45 minutes worth of stuff. You don't want to bring it down with somebody else's hit.
Yeah.
And then not bring it down like, what a drag. But,
hey, finish on high.
You're right. This doesn't really fit, but I know the song, where's my lighter? So and like Phil and Jason, like they don't know Thin Lizzy for, nothing at all. So it's not like I'd say, dudes, remember when we used to jam Hollywood? They'd be like, what? And Phil, being the Motley Crue fan, would go, oh, you mean Danger from the Shot of the Devil record? No, different song.
Right.
So it'd be fun, but I wouldn't see it happening.
All right. So right now we're just going, hey, have a listen. Have a listen to the album.
Yep.
Enjoy the songs. And I hope I have the website here. It says kinellband.bandcamp.com. It looks like you can pick up the digital version for $10. So there's no reason why not to pick this up. $10.
Right. But you can also, if you do that you can get the CD too. So you get them both.
Oh, so double whammy. Okay.
Yeah.
We doubled everybody's pleasure here in one less than 5 words.
Yep.
And on that site, it looks like there's a button where I could send somebody it as a gift as well, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yep. Also on the site, we did a cover of Out in the Fields by Gary Moore and Phil Lynott from the what record? Run for Cover record.
Right
and we did that for kind of Ukraine relief effort. And you can go to a link that's on there and choose your charity. So if you want to do it for fresh water or helping someone with their pets or clothing, you can choose the link you want to donate to. So that's on there as well.
I love it. All right, we'll throw those things in there. And so I'm guessing,
by the way, it's free download.
That's the place, right? Like that's where you would recommend everybody goes and picks it up and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Because I know everyone's got. I got my Twitter thing and I got an Instagram thing and on my Facebook. With Kinell, I'm just going. You know what? It's on Bandcamp. You want to know? You go to Bandcamp. Just go there.
So now you just mentioned all these other social media places.
Yes.
What's your? And everybody's got I do too. I have 8 different social medias and I'm probably not good at any of them. And I'm telling you this, but
I'm with you.
I'm trying to find the right scheduler because you got thousands of fans on one platform and hundreds on the other, and you're going, I don't even know if they're the same people anymore. And why am I doing it on 6 different platforms anyways?
Right.
But whatever. Everybody seems to have a favorite out of the 10 that they have. Is there one that you prefer?
Twitter to me seems like everyone just wants to fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen that footage where these dogs are barking at each other from behind a gate, and then someone pulls the gate and they're in front of each other at the gate, and they're like, okay, and then put the gate back in. That's Twitter to me. So I'm not really a fan of Twitter, although I've met some really cool people on it. Facebook seems kind of like for me, it's like a high school reunion. It just that's where everyone kind of hangs out. But that's for me, that's where a lot of my family hangs out from, all over the US. So that's where they find me. My preferred one is Instagram because I like to take photos. And I can also double up into a post on Facebook if I'm feeling lazy. So cause I'd started a Kinell one and I'm just like, God, okay, I got to open this one up and put it on here, but then I got to go back to Mclernon and then I got to go back. Right. It's like, oh my God, geez Louise.
Can't I just be the same? Can't that just be the same person or the same entity? I'm with you.
Yeah. It's like having a car key that opens up 4 different cars. Like, which one am I driving here? Because I can't do it all at once. And of course, people have their ones that they prefer. Like you said,
right.
I get these requests for likes and I could probably have doubled my followers, I should say. But I'm like, I don't know if I know, Lucretia, who says I'm hot and sexy with a, 4 eggplant. Yeah. Okay, right.
I just ignore. I get
fan of the band, are you? Okay, yeah.
5 or 10 of those a day, and I'm like, yeah, it says joined June 20th.
Right, yeah. It's like,
right, and you came looking for me.
Right, yeah. And you just found me. You're waiting to find the Kinell site. Okay, sure, I get you.
So it's Instagram, and you just threw in you like taking pictures. Are you photographer, camera, or iPhone pictures?
I do both, but since the phone's always with me, that's the majority for sure. Cool. Because you just whip that thing out, and then you can edit it later. Like I went to Hawaii last year, and I took something like 2,000 photos just because it was always firing. And then you can go back. Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
Okay, so do the live thing. Right? Yeah. You can go in and edit that. So I was taking pictures of the waves crashing in Kauai, and I could edit it and move the key photo around so I get the waves crashing in exactly the way I want it. And so I did that for hundreds of them. Yeah. So I love that aspect. However, it also just gives you option anxiety. As the old days, like if you took a photo, like I remember doing photo shoots with Niels Lozauer, and Loz was like, he'd wait, click, wait, click. It wasn't. And you look at him later, and every shot was good. He didn't waste a shot because he was going to film because it was like having bullets. You only had so many in the clip. You can't use them all. Then you're out. So he definitely he was for sure a mentor. I was lucky enough to be I am lucky enough to be friends with him. But he'd be like, yeah, man, don't waste it. Just like this digital realm, man, you'll just, it makes you cocky. Like, okay, gotcha.
I go out, the picture thing. I mean, yeah, I got my iPhone, and then I just sold one of my Canon cameras, and I got a different Canon camera, and I'll go out, and it's my sort of, I like to go alone and take pictures of stuff, and then, come around, and I'll look at the different levels that I have or whatever, and if I want to add something to it or raise a level or something. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not relying on the software as much.
Yes. Composition still matters.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It does.
So
because I was the only one in the band that routinely brought a camera with him. Because when I was my LA day job was I managed a photo store in the Sherman Oaks Galleria. So I don't know if you've ever seen Fast Times, but that's the mall that everyone works at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that was my gig. So I got used to taking pictures because I could develop my own stuff for free. So I took that camera, went with me everywhere. And if we were playing a gig, I would hand the camera to a friend of mine who I knew was like Liz Lowe's. I remember handing my camera. Ben, I can sell these to anyone, Mclernon. I'm not. These are mine. And he'd take pictures. He'd take 4, 5, 6 pictures and hand me my camera back. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. So yeah, in it from an early part of my career for sure. And I love it. It's just Instagram. There's some really, really entertaining things on there now. There aren't really much about picture taking. Instagram. There are people who are really good with just taking photos as opposed to trying to be funny.
Right. Yeah. This is cool. Listen, man, I've kept you longer than I think you agreed to do this with me. So I'm sorry about that. Is there anything you want to leave us with, that I haven't asked or that you'd want to mention to fans or folks who are listening?
No, we already mentioned where you can find us. We'll say it again, kinellband.bandcamp.com. You can find us there. We're on Spotify. So we're trying to, they want to look at your likes and streams and all that stuff on Spotify, which is, a sore spot with any musician because it's such a lost leader. Like, okay, you got to go all through this trouble, then you're getting paid a fraction of a cent.
Nothing. You get nothing.
And at some point that'll turn itself around. Okay, I know it. It's just the way it goes. I look at this as the parallel to 60s television shows that all went into syndication. So all those people had to go back and fight for their royalties, and they won. They got them. So the same thing will happen in music. Same thing. At some point, I'm going to get a check from Google and YouTube for all the stuff that's on there. I'm just going to go, woo! Well, I guess I'm buying lunch for the rest of my life.
Yay!
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm just so excited how everyone's reacted to the Kinell record. It's gotten a really great response, which is all you can hope for. Because once you hand it to, like I said earlier, once you hand it over, it's not yours anymore. And then the whole idea is how many can we do here? So we're, if one can get 2, we get 3, great. We're working on number 2 right now. It's all written. I've just got to I'm waiting for, I think, 2 drum tracks. So then we'll build up from the demo phase on that, and they're ready to go. Then there's
what are you thinking projecting on that one, Chris?
Don't know. I mean, that's a nice thing about digitally. You don't have to wait a year. I could release something every month if I wanted. And there's the mentality of you should do just singles.
Right.
So that's the kind of the fun of the digital era. But the whole second one's done. No title on it yet, but all the songs are written, all the lyrics are written, all the melodies are written, all the twin harmonies are done. Some of the solos are not done because we got to wait, to see what, see if they fire back off the feel of the lyric. Third one is halfway written, I'd say. It's a concept record about a Western, like old style Western ghost story. So guy comes into town on a job. There's some misunderstandings. The wrong person gets killed. It's revenge. The town gets haunted. They have revenge on the guy. So we've worked our way through about 4 or 5 of those songs. And then I did a punk record too about my first couple of years in LA. That's done. And then you got, like I said, I got my surf band. Then I have, I'm literally just finishing up another super, and when I say super heavy, I mean like, 70s heavy. Like the goal was like Dio era Sabbath, that kind of that feel. Even the Sabbath Born Again record has got some cool feel on it. The mix is horrendous, but I love Ian Gillan. That record's great. So I love that feel. It's not quite stoner metal, but it's just a hair faster. So that's going as well. So the idea is just with Kinell to be able to finish this one. It's finished. Have it get its exposure, get people to listen to it, get people behind it, so that when 2 comes out, the word is spread a little more.
That's great. You've given us a whole bunch of teasers there and some terms that I haven't heard in a long time. Stoner metal. So,
there you go. Well, my tattoo artist is a big fan of stoner metal, so anytime we work somewhere, I'm just doing boom, 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 it makes the Witchfinder General sound fast.
You're just making me think of some really old high school days and people that I knew. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we all know that guy. Yep.
We all know that. A few of those guys, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Right on, Chris. Listen, I really appreciate everything. We'll throw everything in the notes. You're awesome. Thanks for taking us through the journeys here. For now, we need to say goodbye to the kingpin of Kinell, but you can take it all if you visit the band website instead of wondering what might have been. Oh my, what have I done, Chris? I didn't quite give it all away, but this album is screaming, take me home. Thank you, Chris Mclernon, for being here. Keep on rocking and rolling us. And I will have all the links that you talked about for Chris Mclernon and Kinell in the show notes. Take care, sir.
Guido, thank you so much for having me. Let's do it again sometime.
Oh, looking forward to it. Take care.
All right, see you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment with Chris Mclernon. I sure did. He's a great fellow, and he's a great musician, and he's all class. So with that, let's hear a little bit from Chris off the Kinell debut album, and let's listen to a song called Easy Come and Easy Go.
It's just another sundown. We're here again. You pull away and shut down, then call us friends. I never prayed for sunshine. I didn't curse the rain. My only wish was sometimes you'd stay in your lane. Oh, just to let you know, you're easy come and easy go. You never let it show. You're easy come and easy go. Now that your clock is ticking, is it the same? Feelings alive and kicking, right in the game. You always pray for sunshine. I always chase the rain. Though it's a different plot line, you'll start in the end. Oh, just to let you know, you're easy come and easy go. You never let it show. You're easy come and easy go. Close my eyes, go to sleep. Listen to you breathing deep. If I die before I wake, at least my soul will find its place. Oh, just to let you know, you're easy come and easy go. You never let it show. You're easy come and easy go. Just to let you know, you're easy come and easy go. You never let it show.
Easy come and easy go. That is Kinell and Chris Mclernon. Stay tuned. We're going to listen to some more new songs from Kinell a little bit later on in the show. Now, before we get to our next segment, let's hear from one of our friends of the podcast, Chasers Fresh Juice.
Hi, I'm Richard Chase, introducing Chaser's Fresh Juice, a local business in Toronto. We've been in business for over 20 years, initially supporting our local Toronto area and now servicing all of Canada. Chaser provides fresh organic juices, ingredients including citrus zest, dehydrated garnishes, and fresh citrus peels to enhance any cocktail or recipe you can think of. We have successfully supplied restaurants, distilleries, craft breweries, and bakeries across the country. Reach out to orders@chasersjuice.com for any questions you may have. We are a customized fresh juice company, and I'm sure we can help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard, at Chaser's Fresh Juice. Now let's keep the show moving along. Let's catch up with Lili Wexu.
Thank you, and welcome to Lili Wexu, actor and voiceover actor, having appeared in fan favorites like Grey's Anatomy and Alien vs. Predator, announced for the Winter Olympic Games, and had her voice on Assassin's Creed video game, and now is focusing on commercials and narration. She's also an author and a voice acting coach. She helps voice actors find their niche and dominate it. We're going to find out more about her talent and some hacks for performing voiceover scripts, skills, tools, success factors, and tons more. Welcome to the show, Lili. Thank you for being here. And how are you?
Good. Thank you. What a great intro. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Did I pass? Did I pass the intro?
You totally passed. You totally passed with flying colors.
I'm nervous. I've talked to so many people over the last 4 years, but I'm talking to somebody who does this professionally in you. So I'm a little nervous. Got the mic here, but I know you'll have to grade me at the end and see if I kept up. Okay.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Now, Lili, listen, you're out of LA, right?
Yeah.
How are things? Yeah. Is it still called, can I say La La Land? Is it still referenced that way?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely La La Land. It's always going to be La La Land, I think. Yeah, at the moment it's cloudy. Like it's been cloudy. Like all the commercials, they're just not this year. It's not, it's not true this year. It's been cold. The winter's been cold and it's been gray. And it's just a very odd year. Usually by this time, it's like really, really hot. And we did have a hot day a couple of days ago, but I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah. So it's cloudy and gray. Perfect day to be in the studio.
Yeah, perfect. And here it's cloudy and gray too, but it's from all the fires and the smoke out east and out west. And the winds are pushing everything on. And I know you and I before we were talking a little bit about that. So yeah, LA, gray. I don't hear that very often, right? So
I don't say that very often.
So is Los Angeles the place to be for voiceover actors?
I think if you want to pursue video games, like AAA video games and studio animation, it's certainly like a hub, a very big hub, because that's where these productions kind of take place. But there are also lots of productions taking place in Texas and in Canada. Toronto and Vancouver are great places to be. And so is Montreal, actually. Ubisoft is there. So for video games and animation, that's where you want to be. If you want to do any other type of voice work, like audiobooks, commercials, narrations, live events, you can literally be anywhere. And if you want to do live events, like be an MC, then being in a big city or close to a big city would be good because you'll get more local events there. But yeah, you can just be anywhere pretty much.
So remote works, but they like to see you sometimes. Yeah.
It's all remote, and it used to be that even if you could be a voice actor in major markets like, Chicago, New York, LA, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, you had to go to studios, like even for regular voice work, which I'll put commercials in and everything else. But now you literally, since the pandemic, the whole industry was like, get your equipment, stay home. And I've had my equipment for 25 years, but like everybody that didn't got their equipment. So now it's all remote, like I said, except for video games and animation, where they'll like to have the actors on set or in studio.
Yeah, I think it's great that that shift has happened, and I think we should do more of it. There's so many other benefits to it. I have to ask though, on your website, liliwexuvoiceovers.com, you also advertise that you do voiceovers in French Canadian. And are you Canadian? And are you spying? Are you our plant in the United States, or what's going on there?
Yes, I'm a spy for, I'm checking up on you Canadians there. I am. I'm from Montreal. I'm French Canadian. I moved to the US when I was a kid, like 3 years old. So, and then we lived in the US for a few years. So I guess I learned to speak both languages kind of at the same time while I was in the US. But then I moved back to Canada and lived in French, up until my early adulthood. So yeah, I'm a total frog, as they say, whatever that pepper.
That's what listen.
They say.
That's awesome. Hey, are you walking the streets of Los Angeles wearing your Montreal Canadiens jersey then, or?
I'm not, but now you're giving me some ideas. I do have a friend who's also from Montreal who loves the Habs, as you do and I do. And he totally walks around with his jersey, and it puts his kids in jerseys. They don't have no opinion. They don't know what's happening to them. Yeah, no, it happens. It does happen. Yeah.
So hey, that's awesome. This is going to be great that you're a fellow Habs fan. Anybody who's not, please do not stop listening to the show. We still love you. We still love you.
Forgive us.
Forgive us. Yeah. Listen, so I kind of dove right into the whole voiceover acting and what you're doing and where you're at. There may be some folks who are not familiar with this. So what exactly is a voiceover actor? What do they do, Lili?
Yeah, so a voice actor is an actor. Like, an actor works in front of the camera or on stage, and a voice actor does the same thing but behind the microphone. So it's exactly the same job. It's just behind the microphone, and you'll mostly hear them recording video games, animation, commercials, anything where you just only hear voice. That's what they do.
Do you ever do a voice for another person? Like, not outside of animation, is that also included in that?
Like, what do you mean? Like a sound alike? Like, what do you mean?
Like, could I be the actor and you would do the voice for me?
No. So it would be in animation or video games, like something like a cartoon or something, like something animated.
Okay.
Where you would be the voice of a character, or usually you just be the voice for a character.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening to an audiobook, like the narrator, that's a voice actor. When you hear commercials on the radio,
right,
that's a voice actor. So anywhere you just only hear voice. But yes, you're right. You can see a person, but usually it'll be like animated, not a real life person. Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of interesting to do.
Yeah.
Like a different person.
I mean, not to, I might have said this somewhere else, not to pick on Milli Vanilli or anything, like the whole lip syncing thing. You see one person or another. So, how did you decide to become a voiceover actor?
It's funny because, sorry, I'm just going back to this thing, actually for film dubbing, which I have done a little bit of. You are voicing somebody else's real life character, just in a different voice, right? So actually, yes, you're right. So that's a good question. Sorry, that totally slipped my mind. Bad voice actor.
And then, until you said dubbing, then I'm thinking, oh yeah, I maybe that's what that's where we're going.
Yeah, that's probably what made you think of it. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
so how did you get into this?
Well, I always had a strong connection to my voice since I was a kid. Like, I really thought, this will sound weird, but I thought it was kind of special or something, and somebody should pay attention, probably because I had a lower voice than everybody else. But then that totally, kind of went away, and I really wanted to just be an actress, like on film and on stage, and it totally was an accident. It's a long story, but essentially I befriended some radio DJs who had this campaign that they needed a voice for, and they thought I would be right for it. And so they said, come on at the station and, let's try it. And I was like, okay. And I'd been told before, you have a good voice, you should do radio. And I was like, yeah, but how do you do that? And so these guys, they got me in, and I voiced this campaign, and it was amazing. Like, it was amazing. I just put the headphones on, I heard my voice, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. What's interesting though is when I first heard it on the radio, I hated it.
Oh no.
But anyway, yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah, I was in a
Why did
grocery
you-
store and I heard it. I don't know. It was like it was like a reaction that I had. Like, I was in a grocery store and I heard something and I was like, oh, what is that? And then it was me. I was like, oh boy, I got over it.
You got, well, yeah, you must have, because you got a lot of years experience in this. Now, did you end up going to school at some point, training, like for formal education on it of any kind, or?
Well, so, voice acting is interesting because basically you have to train to be an actor. That's the training. That's what you do. And so you can do that at a traditional school, art school, whatever. So I studied at a theater. It was called like Theater and Communications school. You can also study just at like a acting centric school. They only teach acting, or with a coach as well. So yeah, that's what I did. And then I coached in voice for voiceover acting. I coached in that for forever. I coach on and off. It's something when you do this job, it's just something that you have to kind of keep up on your instrument, and then you get really, really busy and you work a lot. And then you're like, yay, this is great. And then if things slow down, then you're like, oh, what's happening? And you might need to go coach again. So it's not uncommon for voice actors to kind of coach on and off.
Yeah, you know what I heard? I've spoken with guitarists who are in bands, and they'll go through cycles. They're doing their album, they're doing the tour, the things come down, and then they're like, you know what? It's a little bit slow. I'm going to teach others. I'm doing guitar. I'm teaching guitar and giving guitar lessons. And then it kind of picks up and you kind of do that thing again.
Yeah. But I'm not just saying like, for me as a coach, I'm saying also like I would hire coaches, like throughout my career to learn my craft because I learned acting. Yeah. Because I learned acting, but then and I was working in voice as a voice actress, but you want to improve and you're not booking all the kinds of work that you want to book. And so you get coaching, like a voice over coach, a voice over actor coach. And then, yes, now I coach as well. Yeah, so it's something that you get the acting training, but then the specialty of voiceover acting, at colleges, in some colleges, they're starting to give like an introduction to voiceover, but it's not yet like mainstream like that. So you usually study privately with people.
Yeah. And so when you do the coaches thing, do you get different coaches so that you get a different perspective or a different angle?
Yeah. So if you want to do this as a job, you usually, you would, get a coach, get good at it. And then eventually maybe you'll change coaches to get a different perspective. Like you said, like maybe you want to work with someone who's done the job themselves. Maybe you want to work with someone who's a casting director. Maybe you want to work with someone who's a producer, right? So all these different types of perspectives on the job. Yeah.
Now, Lili, usually like in every profession, and we've gone down the profession path here, there's some sort of, foundation or structure, pillars, principles. We have many names for them, right? What would you say the principles are or the pillars are when it comes to voiceover acting?
Well, the foundation is definitely acting, like, it has the word acting in it, voice actor. So that's the foundation. And the three pillars really to be in business as a voice actor, they're really the performance part. And then there's the technical part, like handling audio and the gear. And then there's the entrepreneurial part, which is like to market yourself. But you can have all the audio technical know-how and be a great entrepreneurial type of person. If you don't have the foundation of acting, it's going to be limited. Your return on your investment, is just going to be limited. So acting is the foundation 100%. Or improv. Sense. It could also be improv, anything that's performance oriented. You want to be a performer. So acting or improv.
Yeah. And I think it's important. The point you're making is, there's a reason we have the craft and there's a path that we take to the craft. It's very rare that you just wake up and you say, I am this, and then that's what you are. There's this process that you kind of have to go through along the way. I keep saying voiceover acting and it's a very long term. voiceover acting. So maybe from here on in, I'm just going to say VO. Is that an acceptable thing if I say VO?
Yeah.
Okay. So for everybody, I am not introducing something new. I'm just going to go VO just to shorten it up a little bit. How do you decide which opportunities to apply for? Like what kind of analysis, let's say, would you do on a VO script?
Well, that gets into a little bit of the nitty gritty, but one of the first things I do is I see if I'm right for it. Now, when you have a lot of experience, it's easier to determine if you're right for something or if you're not right for something, right? So I have a sort of a lower voice, and so that gives me a lot of authority and gravitas. And so there's going to be scripts that require that, right? So right away, one of the first things I do is, is this script, is it going to benefit from my type of voice, right? So if I see a script that requires like a bubbly mom or girl next door, like that's not me. I don't book that kind of work, right? So that's like the first like kind of critical analysis that I look at on a script is like, do I serve this script, right? Now, when you start out, you don't necessarily know that, but with experience, you do. And then the other thing is for script analysis, there are many, many components, and I've prepared a little cheat sheet for your audience. So we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
But basically, script analysis, there are many features in a script, but for instance, one of them I look for is twists and turns. So like in a script, there'll often be a problem and then they'll come in with a solution, especially if we're talking about commercials. So you want to make sure that you're addressing that with your performance, so you want to talk about the problem in a more negative way and you want to talk about the solution in a more positive way, So there's many other features like that. And I'm creating a program, like a script analysis program dedicated to that because it goes quite deep. You can do a script contains a lot of data that you can kind of use to better your performance, to enhance your performance, I should say.
That's amazing, especially when you're talking about, short scripts like commercials, that you would have that intuition. But I get the sense too that, you're applying your own self-awareness. You kind of know who you are, or you got to the point where you know who you are. And that seems to be a critical part of it.
That's just with experience. When you start, you're like throwing spaghetti on the wall. You know what I mean? You're just like trying everything, and you have to do that. But over the years, people keep hiring you for the same thing over and over. So you start to get clues like, oh, like I'm popular or marketable, in this area, right? And then I'm not popular in that area. Like I've tried a million times for this type of job and I never get it. Like, what does that mean, right? So maybe you need coaching, or maybe it's not a match, right? Like energetically, you're not that thing. So yeah, you get to know these things with experience, but at the beginning, you just have to try it all. That's just it's like a rite of passage. You just have to go through that process.
Do you approach the audition differently than the actual production, Lili?
Yeah, you do. You
Really?
do because, because in the audition, you have to stand out. You're competing against other people. So you kind of have to bring a little bit more to it. And in the production, you're not competing against anyone else. And now you have visual elements, music, timing factors. You have all these things that tend to kind of like make what you're doing like more constricted. Like it's just reducing what you're able to bring to the work. But in the audition, you have a little bit more freedom. Like, you don't have the visuals. You don't always know how long, the spot is. I mean, usually you can tell, but you have more flexibility and you want to be able to stand out by showing your abilities. So yeah, you do a bit more in auditions than you would for the job.
Okay. Weird follow-up question. We're talking about voices, but when you go to an audition, how important is physical appearance when you're doing voiceover acting? Does that factor in?
Like zero.
None.
Yeah, it does not factor in. In fact, like we said, like you're doing most of your auditions at home. Nobody sees you. Like voice is
It's
one of
just
those
voice.
careers.
Yeah.
It's literally just voice. And the voice is amazing. Like it just does not age the same way like a person ages.
Yeah.
So it's just, like one of my coaches, she's in her 70s. She can still sound like a child. Like she's an animation actress who's voiced young kids, young boys' voices. Like as a career, she was Dennis the Menace. She's done a bunch of stuff. So she can still sound like a child, and she's in her 70s, right? So the voice is just amazing. Like, it can just carry you through. So yes, appearance is not a factor in any way.
And so I guess as you're saying that, I'm going, well, they don't even need to see you on camera. They just want to hear your voice. So you could be doing it in your pajamas. It doesn't matter.
I've done many a gig in my pajamas.
Right on. Look, so when I was younger, the way you'd augment your learning sometimes, there was Cole's Notes, right? So you read Romeo and Juliet, and then you get the Cole's Notes to kind of help you out with some of the theories, or did I miss something? Nowadays, I think we call them hacks, right? Everybody's got a hack for something. Are there any hacks that you could cover for performing VO scripts?
Yeah. So that's another little thing that's on a cheat sheet for your audience that they can get at the end. So there are a few, and we're not going to, I'm just going to pick one for you so that it's easy to remember. But like the biggest one, and it's really interesting, students have a really hard time with this, but it's one of the most valuable ones. It's pauses, making pauses. For some reason, when people read scripts, they just kind of steamroll through. But if you can make strategic pauses in certain areas, you're just drawing people in, right? It's like, oh, what's happening? And so you really get people to lean in, and it can really help to emphasize a certain section of the script and let it breathe. And it's also good just to breathe, So, but pauses, strategic pauses are one of my favorite hacks. And it's so funny. It is a hack that people have trouble with, but it is worthwhile mastering, because a strategic pause, it's like magic. It just brings the script to life. It's amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
I love it. And you made me think. I think I gave some of this advice to my kids when they were doing their oral presentations at school. And I said to them, when you deliver this line, but I didn't know I was doing this. Now you kind of connected the dots for me. But I said to them, when you deliver this line, wait a moment, let the audience digest it, right? And the comparison that I gave is that when you look at a painting that an artist paints, you don't have to paint every piece of white space on your canvas, because sometimes you can use the white space to tell part of the story. And I think that's what you're saying when you say employ the pause, wait, absorb, right?
And what you're saying, it does let people understand what's going on. And it's a kind of a reaction that they just want to get through the script, like, I want to get through it. But it's like, and also like in the sense of script analysis, when you have a problem, let's say in a solution, if you're not pausing, I may not get that this was a problem now and that I'm moving towards a solution, right? Like, I need a break here to orient myself, right? So it's very useful. I love that you gave that advice to your kid, because it's incredibly useful in everyday life too.
Yeah.
You want to make a point, just take a beat, then it's like, oh, whoa, what's going on?
Create suspense.
Yes. Exactly.
Could you give us some advice in terms of what I should master as a voiceover actor? Let's say, what would be, and you pick either one or a couple of skills that I could master or should master.
Well, we were talking about performance and being an audio technician and entrepreneur. I really think developing your skills as an actor, you're just going to win. You're just going to win if you do that. And then becoming a really resourceful and savvy audio technician. So learning audio software, how that works, it's just so important, because people need to hear your performance, right? It needs to be packaged, like they need to hear it. So you really need to master that skill, and you don't need to become like an audio engineer, but you need to work your equipment quickly and easily, so that when clients call in and direct you, you can work the rig. And then becoming an entrepreneur / I would say like a driven entrepreneur / shameless marketer because you have to then, now that your voice is like packaged and it's in a container, we need to market it. And that's how you get paid. So those are 3 things that you really need to master. You do not need to master them all at once. Work on being an actor first, then take tutorials, practice with the recording, and then learn about marketing. But the marketing part is not as hard as people think. Like if you like likes on whatever platform you're on, like you like marketing, like, and you know about marketing, which posts work better than others. So we already have that now in our everyday lives. Like everybody's kind of like their own little marketer. So you kind of have to do the same thing for your business. That's how you get it out there. So
Lily, let me ask a little bit about the technology piece. And I feel a little self-conscious asking this question, especially with a microphone right in front of me. And I use it multiple times a week for recording my shows. But look, I'm ready to take the plunge here. Let's see if you can help me out too. Are there any microphone skills that you would say are essential to voiceover acting? And could I apply them to my craft?
Definitely. So there's 2 techniques that are kind of most used. One of them is just playing with projection. Projection is how loud we're speaking or how low we're speaking, right? So one technique is to just get more intimate, like speaking a little bit lower. And so you kind of like lean into the microphone, and that, like the pause, draws listeners' attention in. So that's something that you could use, because you could, if you wanted to ask a personal question, or if you thought a question might make someone uncomfortable, you could say, okay, I'm going to ask you a question now, and so it kind of sets the stage, that drama that you're talking about, the build that the suspense that you're talking about before, the intimate kind of read, like, does that, right? So I call it the lean in. So like leaning in, that kind of does that. Another one, which would not be good for you, because podcasting, like you kind of want to be in front of the mic, but is going off mic, right? So it's like, honey, do you have the keys? Like, where I put the keys? Like, I can't find it, so you're kind of like looking away. Right. Yeah. So that you use that to enhance the situation that you're in the script. Right. So people in video games and animation, they'll use those techniques a lot, because you're not always in real life, talking straight to a person, like when they're looking at you. Right. We talk to people, we're like this the whole time. We don't wait for people to be there. We're talking to them. So, I should say that all of the techniques that I teach and that are, that clients like, they're all based on actual speech, like what we do in real life. So that's why. But for podcasting, people want to hear you. So going off is not really great. But the lean in, I would definitely use. Yeah, that would be a good one for you.
You had me on the lean in. Like I was like, there's something, you're going to tell me something else? Like what? You're good. Right? Wow, it was really good. No, thank you. I'm going to try that. I don't know. Maybe I might have done it. It's funny because when you say some of these things, I may have done a few of them, not knowing that I did them, maybe or organically, but I can see how if you raise your awareness of them, you could apply them more strategically, if you will, right? During the conversation.
That is, what you just said now is exactly what I coach. It's like, use what you do in everyday life, bring it to consciousness, and use it strategically. You just said it perfectly. I'm going to hire you. You're the perfect PR guy.
I'm coming to LA and I'm wearing my Habs jersey. Lily, what other tools are like, we've talked about, the technology and the technique. Are there other tools that you consider vital to the VO business?
I think that whatever you're doing in life, before you did VO, could have some things that you could use, because VO is so big, right? There's a performance part, there's a technical part, and there's a marketing part. So any other skills that you have could translate well to one of those aspects of VO. So, even things you learn in school, like other things that are not related, you'd be surprised how that could be funneled into what you're learning. And also contacts. like the people that you know, you'd be surprised how just the people that you know, they are such big supporters of you and will help you get along. Like if you want to do voiceover, like just tell everybody, because you don't know who knows somebody that could hire you. Like I have my story in one of my books, like, one of my childhood friends, like his mom was a TV reality producer, a reality TV producer. So like, we ended up working with her, and he's hired me. He worked at several radio stations, and, I was the voice I did imaging for those stations. So it's just like the people around you just don't know. So I would say, like, whatever you already have going on in your life, like that can really help you in your voice career.
Utilize the resources that you have. Sometimes and I think you're right. Sometimes we have resources and we don't know that we have the resources, or we don't think of them as resources, if you will. Put it out there, right? I mean, in some respect, we play numbers games in so many other parts of our lives, right? If you raise your self-confidence and you have that awareness, put it out there. Look, you've given us some really great advice in terms of our understanding of the VO world, if you will, and some of it at a real personal level. And someone with your experience seems to be able to convey to us. Are there any rules that you live by for finding success in the VO business?
Yeah, my biggest rule is, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, but it's less is more. So, audition for the things that are right for me, make demos with scripts that are right for me, and find the right clients for me. So in other words, just be right all the time. Just joking. But it's just managing your energy so that you're not doing everything all the time. But like we said before, when you're starting out, you just don't know those things, which is why working with a coach is so helpful, because it can fast track that process and help you eliminate things as you go along. But yeah, so less is more. The less is more philosophy is really important. And I feel like that, like for a lot of things in life, because everything is so fast paced and so crazy and so intense, and there's just more and more and more. We have to kind of, at some point, have the discipline to go, no, I don't need all that, and just stick to what it works and what is right for me. So yeah, less is more.
Lili, have you ever said no to a potential opportunity because you felt like
I say no a lot?
Really?
I just said no today. Yeah, I just said no today. Yeah, I say no a lot. Yeah, because I know what it's just like any business. Some things are right and some things are not right. Yeah, I say no all the time.
So you reached a point in your profession, in your talent, where you go, this is my brand and I'm going to protect my brand, and I'm saying no because if I do this, it would do something to my brand that I don't want it to do. Right? Like you've established
there's that. Yeah, there's that. And sometimes it's just like the budget is not there. It's just, it could be just not a match in that way. Sometimes it's that. You do have to protect the brand. There are some things that I won't do because it would just tarnish everybody else that is using my voice. And sometimes you have to say no because you're working with competing products. Like I just had to say no last week because I booked, a campaign for a wireless provider here in the US. And then this other wireless provider approached me, and they're like, can you do that? And I was like, I can't do both. I literally just can't do both. So, and that happens a lot because once you get to a certain level, you're working in a lot of sectors and then you get popular in that sector. And then you're like, I can't do all, I can't do it all. I just have to, yeah. So there's many reasons that you have to say no. Once you're busy at the beginning, you say yes a lot, of course.
Do you have a favorite voiceover work that you've done to date that you can talk about?
I think the Olympics maybe, because like it's such a unique experience and the thrill of it and the prestige and it was just so crazy. Like the whole thing is so crazy, but also what I love about it then and now is that it celebrates athletes who surpass themselves. And I really identify with that in my own life. And so I just have this like, I don't know, it's just be a part of something. Like I love the underdog. I just love that whole thing. And I got to be a part of it. And of course I love video games. But I can't do them a lot because I work so much in the corporate sector with commercials that I can't, you have to yell a lot. And I just can't not have my voice be,
Right.
something I can rely on every day. Like if you do a day of video games, the next day you might not be able to work. So in the type of work that I do most and that pays me the most. So I can't do video games a lot. I get requests and I'm like, I have to look at it and it's so, but I love it. I absolutely love it. If I had to do this all over again, that's what I would do,
Wow.
but I'm not going to complain.
You're a gamer. No. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. All the gamers are going to start following you now on social media. That's the voice. That's what we want. Look, you've mentioned books a couple of times. You've put together an ebook series called Get Clever About VO. There's a website where everyone can read about it called getcleveraboutvo.com. And you have a bundle of books available there. Can you give us some insights? Where does one start with the wealth of information? And do they need to read every book or are they targeted?
They only need to read one sentence in every book and then they're good to go. No. I would definitely start with the first book because it gives you a lay of the land. And I think that that's really important to understand, like the whole industry and what is required of you as a voice actor. So book 1 is a super important book. Book 2 is about the technical aspect. And if you already work, if you're a musician or a podcaster, or, you may not need that. There are some things in there, conventions and formats that are popular in voiceover delivery files that are good. And it's a low cost, so it could be worth it for that, but it's not necessary if you're already proficient with the technical aspect of recording voice. And then the third book is really important if you want to market yourself and make money. So I would say the first one and the third one are definitely a yes. And the second one, it just depends on your level of proficiency.
So
they're short reads, they're not long reads. They're easy, quick reads, but packed with information. So I feel like they're short to the point. And so they're not like a big thing. Like it's going to take you 3 weeks to read them, right? You can actually read them in like 1 or 2 sittings. So
now if we're buying the books, do you also provide a service where like somebody can say, hey, Lili, can you also teach me, or can you do that as well to help with the book?
Yeah. So even if you just go on my website, Get Clever About VO, there's a place to inquire about coaching. Yeah, definitely.
So, and you joked around, you just got to read the first line out of every book, but I have a question. In the intro of Get Clever About Acting 1, 2, and 3, you say this, the Get Clever About ebook series was born out of a desire to help actors build, maintain, and expand their careers on screen and behind the microphone. In essence, the ebooks strive to provide actors with clear, practical, and logistical industry information. Here's the key, right? Listen in. That is oftentimes unspoken, difficult to acquire, or challenging to understand. And that caught me because I was like, why is logistical information often unspoken or difficult to acquire in the industry?
Well, it's not straightforward to be a voice actor for reasons we mentioned. Like there's no actual like proper school. I mean, there are little schools that have sprung up in the last 10 years, but it's just not a straightforward path. You're an artist, right? You're an artist and you have to look at it that way. It's like you're an artist, you're your own business at the same time. It's kind of weird, and you have to have all this technical knowledge, so it's not straightforward. And the whole auditioning industry, auditioning for agents, for casting directors, for clients, like that's like what goes on behind there. Like, do they listen to them? Like what makes a good audition? Like, it's just stuff that you don't really necessarily know the mechanics of, which makes it hard as an artist to know, like, what am I doing here? Right. So a lot of voice actors end up just not knowing where to start, what to do, if they're any good, what they should do next. Like, it's just not a straightforward path. And I tried to the best of my ability to shine a light on the whole process, to really give people a place to start and like a roadmap, to help them understand. And I interviewed some industry people too, to get a little bit of insight about what happens with auditions and things like that. So yeah, I just tried to like lift the curtain a little bit on what goes on back there. Like, what's all this about, right? Because there's a lot of books like of famous voice actors, but like, what about the little guy who just wants to like get a paying gig, like narrate an audiobook or a copy of a piece of narration, like that explains an explainer, right? And that explains how a product works. Like, what about that guy, right? So, or that girl, or they, or whatever. So you need a place you need to know where to go and how it all works. And that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, it's a guide, right? We have value in guides and in the learning process. And you've demonstrated for us a lot of different elements that are in your books. It's not just a voice. You talk about environment, you talk about setup, you talk about technology, positions, volume, tone. You run the whole gamut. Here's something that I'm thinking though. You have over 25 years of experience that is carefully packed into your books. It's just a wealth of knowledge. And when you're flipping through the pages, they're not just words on the page. You could tell that you're speaking from that experience. When you were starting out, could your books have helped you do differently than what you have done to date? And would you? Because I know, there's a youthful element sometimes to, I know what I'm doing. I got this, right? I don't need to read the instruction manual, right? But for those folks who are listening going, what would you say? What would you say? Would younger starting out Lili go, yeah, give me that book. I wish I had that now in retrospect.
You just hit the nail on the head. Like, you just hit the nail on the head. When the first 10 years of me doing this, I had the person who mentored me kind of into this. And I just thought I knew what I was doing because I was working. And I thought I knew what I was doing and nobody else could coach me because he had coached me like 10 years ago. I just thought like, who's going to coach me, And I just was kind of stagnant in my business, And then one day I met somebody who told me about this coach and I was like, and he was kind of a professional and he was using a coach. And I was like, why are you using a coach? Like, I don't use a coach. He's like, oh yeah, you got to use a coach. You got to, And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I got down from my pedestal there and I just, contacted this coach and actually it made me realize how much I didn't know. And it made me so much better at my job. And so, yeah, totally. And it's funny because when I was writing the books, like I had to take some of my own advice so I could test it. So I could just, make sure what I was saying was still accurate and all that. And I hadn't been in acting class in some years, because I've been busy and I didn't have time. And then I just said, I'm going to drag my butt back to acting class. And I did that. And it's so crazy because immediately I started booking more work, like immediately. And I was like, wow, like this stuff works, So yeah, I wish that first book, I wish somebody had given me, which is why I wrote them, because it's like, if you're going to waste your time like me for 10 years, and don't get me wrong, I was doing okay, but I still kind of, if I had gotten my ducks in a row 10 years earlier, like, wow, like that'd be pretty cool. Like I just kind of spun my wheels for a long time thinking I knew what I was doing, and now I listen back to those recordings and I go, oh God, I could have done better. But,
yeah, these are a real opportunity to invest in yourself. And I really like the fact that you fact checked yourself. You said, I'm going to go and try and experience this and make sure that before I tell somebody how to tie their shoes, that indeed this is, still how I tie my own shoes, sort of thing. So that's awesome. Yeah. Lili is offering us fact check proven books and content here. That's awesome. Look, Lili, you've certainly given us a lot to think about. You've educated us, you've entertained us. You've made us think beyond the voice. And thank you so much for that and for your time. And so before I do let you go, is there anything that you would like to leave us with, including your preferred contact information or anything else?
So, I want to leave everybody who's listening and who's interested in voice work some resources, some little guides I've put together for your audience. So you can find them if you sign up to my mailing list. You just go to getcleveraboutvO.com/sign-up in one word. And if you join the mailing list, you're going to get a bunch of freebies. It's going to talk about mic techniques, some performance hacks. Actually, the script analysis one is not on there because I'm preparing a program for that. So that's not on there, but there's tons of other stuff, even talking about gear. It's just full of resources. I think there's like at least 10 PDFs on there with like short and concise information. So if you want to get that, go and get that. And also once you're on my mailing list, you're going to get exclusive tips for the working VO actor. So even if you're not doing this yet, you're going to get insight about what really goes on, which if one day you want to do this, you're going to be ahead of the game. So it's a really great place to be. And if you want to get in touch with me, it's just getcleveraboutvO.com. There's a coaching section there and you can write to us. And even if you join the mailing list and you have questions or you want to reply back with anything, you can just hit reply back and I'll get that email. So yeah,
that's awesome. I'm in. I love freebies, so I'm going to sign up. So
great.
For sure. Look, thank you so much, Lili. Much appreciated. That is Lili Wexu, folks. And you can find her at liliwexuvoiceovers.com and getcleveraboutvo.com. She is a voiceover actor with over 25 years of experience, continuing to lend her voice to brands that find their way into your home and family experiences, and helping voice actors get creative, get critical, and get paid well. She's taken those experiences and authored a series of books that give you insights on the profession and life. I will have all of her contact info on the show notes. Thank you again, Lili. We hope to catch up with you real soon, and take care.
Such a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed that session with Lili Wexu. I certainly did. Very informative, educational, and fun. Let's hear from her one more time in terms of how to get a hold of her content online and get a discount.
Thanks again for listening. And remember, if you want a discount on my ebooks, join me at getcleveraboutvO.com/sign-up. You'll also get exclusive content for the working voice actor. You don't want to miss it.
All right, shout out to Lili again. Now, as we continue the show, before we get to our next segment, let's take a little music break. Here is Chris Mclernon with his band Kinell and their song, Say Goodbye.
Fact that you can't win it back. What
Track off the debut album for Kinell with Chris Mclernon. Stay tuned. We'll have another song from Chris and the band a little bit later on in the show. Now, before we get to our next segment, let's hear from one of our friends of the podcast, Lee's Fine Cars.
Whether it's buying a new car or a quick oil change, Lee's Fine Cars and Service Center has got you covered. Proudly serving the GTA for over 30 years as your one-stop automotive source for sales, service, and bodywork. Come visit us at 87 Green Lane, conveniently located just south of Bayview and 407, or online at leesfinecars.com.
All right, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. The next segment, the next thing I want to talk about is Twitter versus Threads. And Threads is a new app that's been recently launched by Meta. And I've got an article over on guidoprano.com/blog. And I'm going to read that to you as we discover the differences between Twitter and Threads. And is Threads ready to take over?
Meta, formerly known as Facebook, who also has other popular products in his suite of offerings like WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram, launched a new app called Threads, available on Apple or Android, on July 6, 2023. The app, aimed as a rival to Twitter, has set a record for being the most rapidly downloaded app of all time, with over 30 million users in less than 24 hours since being launched, and growing to over 100 million within 3 days. It has left many wondering if this is the app that will ultimately challenge Twitter. While there is a lot of initial excitement about the app, it is another in the long line of efforts from developers like Post, Mastodon, Hive, and Blue Sky, trying to attract frustrated users on the Twitter platform dealing with the erratic behavior of billionaire owner Elon Musk. All have enjoyed an initial bump in interest that has waned over time, leaving users in a state of social media homelessness. The new apps seem to be difficult to access, challenging to sign up on, and don't have the look and feel that users find familiar or easy to navigate. Plus, Twitter has enjoyed years of users building their followers, and the idea of having to rebuild their communities is a daunting, time-consuming task many don't want to entertain. So, why do users keep looking? People continue to search for a Twitter alternative due to its constantly changing rules and restrictions. Some notable changes Musk implemented was a subscription system for user verifications, which broke several accounts. Next, he cut off integration with partner businesses who developed apps to feed into Twitter, unless they too wanted to subscribe to multi-tiered offerings. Recently, he began limiting how many tweets a user could view based on their subscription status, while also limiting access to people's own information. Most of these changes come with little communication or opportunity for people or businesses to adjust. Most of the time, the changes get modified shortly after they've been implemented, again, leaving everyone confused. While some users remain loyal to the Twitter brand and are forking over money to be part of whatever Musk is creating, it seems like the world is waiting for a more stable alternative. Is Threads finally that alternative? The new Threads app quickly addressed some of its competitors' early woes. The platform made it easy for users to sign up, especially if they already had an Instagram account, which copied their username and brought over all their existing contacts, meaning they also didn't have to spend time rebuilding their community of followers. The interface has some similarities to Twitter, with icons that let users look at their profile, write a post or thread, see their followers, replies and mentions, and go back to their home view. The app lets you post links, pictures, videos up to 5 minutes in length, and allows for up to 500 characters of text, compared to 280 on Twitter. Like Twitter, you can comment, like, and repost a thread, as well as send it to other platforms, including Twitter. Post it to your feed, copy the link, or share it to other apps and platforms. Even if you're new to these types of apps, it's easy enough to figure out how to use, and early user reviews say the community is less combative than Twitter. With all these positives, is there anything users might still look for that isn't there yet? Well, Threads still needs to add some tweaks to address some noticeable voids. For example, there is no direct messaging within the app between users. There's also no way to search for a topic, only users, and subsequently there is no trending now view. With the traction the app has received, some believe it's a matter of time before these features get introduced in a planned execution of upgrades. It's hard to argue with the momentum that Threads has had since launching. If Threads comes through with the additional updates, this app poses a real threat to the unpredictability of the Twitter platform that continues to alienate its entire user base, subscribed or not. If Twitter continues to limit how much a user can view, post, access, or develop, both users and sponsors will continue to flee, leaving behind even less reason to be on the platform that already exists today. The only ones left on Twitter will be Elon Musk and those willing to pay a monthly fee to see their own blue check mark. So far, Threads has made a positive global impression as users continue to look for a new social media home, and Twitter sees it as enough of a threat to already launch a lawsuit against Meta. You can download the Threads app from the Apple or Google Store. It works on both iOS and Android. There is currently no desktop access to Threads. To see a complete comparative chart between Threads and Twitter, head on over to guidoprino.com/blog. This is an opinion article by me, Guido Prino, of the Monthly Social Podcast. It may also be heard on the Path Radio Mix online. Thank you.
Okay, coming up a little bit later in the show, I've got another topic on artificial intelligence and your health. And there's a whole buzz around artificial intelligence lately. But before we get to that, let's go to our next guest. And she is Maeve DeVoe, A real life princess? Here we go.
I am welcoming to the show our very own real life princess, the multi-chart topping peachy princess, Maeve DeVoe. Welcome to the show, Maeve. Thanks for being here. How are you doing?
Thank you, Ascendry. I am so peachy right now. I am so excited to do this. The sun is shining everywhere in my mind, and it's just, I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm good. What does it mean to feel so peachy? Like, what is that? What does peachy mean?
It's just like every single like molecule in my body is smiling and doing like a little tiny dance. So everything is rainbow in my head.
Rainbows and peaches. Well, that's great.
Yes.
Look, tell us a little bit about being a real life princess and how that came to be. Before we get to music, let's deal with you're wearing a crown, Tara. We're going to talk about that.
Yes, I am.
How did you come to be a real life princess?
Oh my gosh. So whenever I was younger, and I didn't know this, I completely forgot this. Whenever I was younger, I wore crowns. I wore tiaras all the time, and I wore these princess dresses and everything. And I was just this little diva of like, I'm the princess, like all that kind of stuff. And I forgot. So looking back, it's crazy to think like, because, you know, whenever you turn a teenager, it's kind of like this little gray area. But I've always been this way. I've always worn this. I've always felt like this is my destiny. And now my entire closet is Lolita, or EGL now. That's the new name. Where it's these roughly little frilly princess dresses with extreme petticoats, corsets, tiaras, crowns, like diamonds. It's everything. And like, just, it's so cool to live this life and know that little me would be smiling so big and be freaking out seeing how I look now. And being a princess, a real life princess, is actually, it's very like, it has a lot of weight to it because, you know, people think, oh, there's a princess, I got to listen to what she says. And so I would like to inspire the younger generation and younger kids, teens, especially girls, to dress modestly and to be fun, to, you know, like wear the cute little dresses, wear the corsets, you know, and you can still have fun with it.
What a great message. Now, are you starting a new line of royalty, or do you have lineages to other royalty?
This is actually a secret, but I do have an answer, and I do have a secret answer, but I have a real answer. This is really, really cool. And I mean this in the most pure way possible. I don't want this to be construed or anything. We did my DNA.
Okay.
And it's really, really, really awesome to see just way more than I can count on my hands of actual royals. And it's crazy. And it just blows my mind. And it makes it feel different putting on the corsets and stuff. So
I get it. Babe, I get it. We've had people on the show who've worked with the royals and they can't say certain things because it just goes against the code. And we were sworn to secrecy too. So we're going to leave that there we've got lineages, and you're establishing a new way for folks to look at what it is to be a princess. Now, do you really wear the crown and the tiara all the time?
Every single time I meet someone, they ask me this, and I'm so happy to answer it. I have a crown for swimming. I have a crown for bath time. I have a crown for sleeping, which is a crochet crown that my sister did. I have a black and white one. I have tiaras. I have like the little push-on ones. I have the headband ones, the half crowns, the full circular crowns.
Wow.
I have everything in every color, and I do wear them all the time. I go out
amazing.
Even to the gas station, I'm wearing a crown. Even in the car, just a car ride, I'm wearing a crown. So yeah, I do.
Wow. And do people ask you, hey, you wearing a crown, or like, do you know you're wearing a crown, or what?
I get asked a lot anytime I'm out, just anywhere. Like, is it your birthday? Is it your birthday today? And sometimes I just say yeah, because it's been asked every single day. So
Maeve,
Yeah.
when it comes to look, we're gonna get to music here. When it comes to music, how does a real life princess start their journey at the age of 14? What puts you on a music journey instead of
Oh my gosh.
you know modeling as a royal, etc. Right? How did you start your music journey?
Wow. It's hard to even explain. In the early 2000s, there were a lot of shows that had pop stars. Hannah Montana, Victorious. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the other ones right now. But obviously being like a little 5-year-old or a little 7-year-old, I was like, oh, what? Like, what is that? And so I would freak out. And I was the kid that had the plastic microphone, that had the little pop star headset, everything. And I would be doing little songs. I would never stop singing everywhere I went. And I feel like I was born for this, because the second I saw it, my life changed and I've never been the same. It's just always been, I'm going to sing everywhere I go. And this is me. This is just what I belong to. This is what I was put on this earth to do.
And when you were 14, did you start recording?
I did. Whenever I was 14, because whenever I became a tween, like that weird age of like 9, I started musical theater because I learned that was a career. And that is where that's what the sole decider of was for me to sing. And then as I got older, to be more like 13, 14, I realized I kind of want to like make my own music. I don't want to like always be doing a show. I want to like do my own stuff, and I want to be the show. Like, I'm the show. So like in Zoosh, I'm the star of the show. And I decided that I'm going to play around on a little piano. I had a little tiny synth piano, and I would come up with little stuff. I would write down little things on a notebook of random lyrics that 14-year-olds would write, like sun is shining, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And eventually my vocal coach told me about GarageBand. And so I started recording myself singing, which then led to me making beats, which then led to me trying to put together actual songs. And then I made my first ever song, I'm Different. And I took it to a professional recording studio. And from then on, it's history.
So folks, just, you started out with the tools that you had around you and the simple tools that we all had, and discovered your talent and took it from there. Now, it doesn't just stop there, because you also record, mix, and do your own production. How did you learn all the different aspects of that as well?
Oh man, like I said, my teacher taught me about GarageBand. Yeah. And so from there, I played around. I kind of taught myself on GarageBand, because he didn't like sit me down and be like, okay, this is this, this is this. And so I kind of just learned on my own for that. And as I kept making and making and making, I was then able to, with my vocal coach, audition for the Frost School of Music summer, what is it called? Activity at University of Miami. And you had to be handpicked. They had to hand choose you. And so it was like a huge deal that I got in, first of all, my dream university. And I learned how to use Logic Pro, which comes in with GarageBand. It's the big sibling of GarageBand, where it's for the Mac, which was my first time ever touching a Mac. So I was sitting there, I was trying to figure out how to turn it on. And I kept asking her, like, how do I turn this on? But that's where I learned I love producing. I love this. This is what I want to do. And so I really, really, really learned a ton there. I learned just mixing and producing specifically at Frost School of Music. And then after that, I just kind of started playing around with it on my own again, but this time researching videos, figuring it out by testing, okay, let me listen to this back and let me listen to an actually professionally recorded song, like listening to a Gaga song and being like, okay, well, what is the mixing with that? And why is it different than this? How can I fix that? And from there, I kept practicing and practicing hundreds of songs And I've learned ever since then by practice.
So a lot of your own, self-motivation, a little bit of
Yes.
self-teaching mixed in with the school, and then kind of taking it to the next level. Do you really spend 8 hours a day in your music these days, or?
Yes, I do. It's more like I can't ever see myself putting like a number of hours for it, because everything I do, I breathe my career. When I wake up, I've dreamed of my career that night. Whenever I eat, I think of my career. Whenever I'm playing a video game, I'm thinking of my career, like practicing streaming in my head. Whenever I'm literally doing anything, I'm thinking of my career and I'm working on it. And so it's a non-stop, and no matter what, it never stops. I cannot take a break. So that's not negative, but like it's like it doesn't stop. So yeah, I do. I really do. I've planned ahead about 10 years of my career and created content and actual things for 10 years worth of music, etc.
It's fun to see how excited and passionate you are about it. On your website, maevedevoe.card.co, you say, "My goal in life is to create a new global change with my music. I want to make the world smile." Why is that so important to you?
That's one of those questions that I could never fully answer, because it's so important to me and it's such a deep part of my soul. Like I said, I've been put on this earth to perform, and I feel like I've also been put on this earth to make it smile in some way, shape, or form. And I just really seriously believe that smiles can change the world, and that we're so divided right now to the point to where it's like you can feel it in the air, even just leaving the house for a second. And smiles can break barriers. Smiles can break language barriers. Different cultures. I can go to a different country and my smile is all I have because I cannot speak the language. And that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if we're all so different culturally, or we're all so different with languages. We can all listen to music because music is universal and smiles are universal. Anytime I ride in the car, I am the type to stick my head out the window and like a dog and feel the breeze and stuff. And where I live, there's always people walking up and down, and I always smile my heart out at them. And it is my favorite thing to do, because they'll be so sad. They'll be so down. You can just tell that they're just suffering internally. And like just seeing one person smile at them, their whole face lights up. And I just, that makes me so happy. And I just pray for everyone that I smile at, because I just wish that we all could do that. We all could smile at each other.
Smiling is infectious. You mentioned languages. Is it true that you can sing in 12 different languages?
I can. Yes.
Wow.
It is my goal to speak those as well. So far I can speak about 3 or 4, but I wish to be completely fluent in 12.
You can sing in 3, or sorry, you can speak in 3 or 4, but you can sing in 12.
In 12, yes.
Wow. And are you going to be releasing all your songs in multiple languages? Is that the ultimate goal, or?
Yes, my goal is to, like I said, I want to make the entire world smile. I don't want to just make my nation smile or my state smile. I want to make the world smile. And so I want to not just sing in my language and speak to people in my language. I want to get personal with people. If I'm going to Mexico, I want to be fluent. I want to be standing on that stage, speaking in Spanish to them. I want to just be connected. I don't want there to be that barrier. I don't like the barriers. And so I'm going to make songs in Spanish. I already have about 5 songs in Spanish, actually. They're just not released yet. But that's my favorite to sing in, I think. But
wow.
I just want, even if I'm in some crazy place like Norway, I just want to be standing on the stage and speak Norwegian. I want to just do it. I want to sing the songs that they love in their native language. That would be mind blowing if one of my favorite singers in Japanese started singing it in English. So that's what I would like to do.
Now, that sounds wonderful. I look forward to you being able to reach to all the different cultures, and it's obvious you want to make a connection with people. One of your recent songs, it's a recent single called Car Radio, and it's a song that's doing very well. It's doing well on multiple stations. It's doing well on the pathradio.com. I think it was number 9. It's been on the top
That's
20
my number.
countdown.
Sorry, that's my favorite number.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's special.
Why is number 9 your favorite? Can you tell us, or is this another royal secret?
No, it's not a secret. It's just really hard to explain. So, oh my gosh. So this number 9, it's not leaving my life. It's definitely intrusive in my life, to the point to where I could literally just be chilling. And for some reason, something in my life has equivalated to 9. Like, I started my career at 9, and just all of my songs are released on the 9th, or something with the 9 in them.
Yeah.
There's something about it. There's something about it. I started my career at 19. It's weird. So
when you hit number 9,
is,
when you hit number 9, you're like, oh my God, I hit number 9.
Yes,
so.
Again, here we go. So it's just like, oh, here we go with the 9s. So, but I love 9. It's so great, and being number 9 is such a blessing.
So yeah, well, hopefully you keep climbing there. It sounds like a great tune, but that song, Car Radio, is a collaboration with Graham Hart. Tell us a little bit about the song and working with Graham.
Okay, so first of all, Graham is really, really cool. But the actual story of creating it, we met on an app called Vamper for Artists. Artists can meet there, and it's for collabs. So I was looking for a collaboration, just really anything. I would love to just collab on any type of song. I don't care if it's in a different language. Hit me up. I will learn it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, I have this song, and if you want, you can hop on it. I have the beat. I have all this. So I did not produce this beat, but I did mix it. And he sent me like him singing it. And at first I was like, oh, okay. I don't really know what to do. And then I just started improvising on it. And the final product is improv. And so I was really getting into it, to the point to where I was just like practically doing little tiny like fairy jumps in my closet. And and I finally mix it. There's at least 3 different released versions of the song, of different mixing, different in general. There's just so many different versions. And I finally got the final mix, and I sent it off to a compilation album with WOA Entertainment for Goa Chill Out Zone Volume 12. And it was actually number 1 on iTunes UK for compilation albums.
Very nice.
So it was so awesome. Graham is so cool and chill. He's so chill, and he's great at singing. I cannot wait to work on more things with him in the future.
Well, congratulations on that. That's a great accomplishment for the both of you. So you've also worked with other accomplished industry resources in multi-Grammy Emmy Award-winning Joe D'Ambrosio Management out of New York City, and with Grammy Award-winning mixer engineer Phil Jolie. How has that changed your approach to music? And what has working with them done for your sound? I know, right?
The first time I worked with them, I just felt like I was on cloud 9. And just the quality, the professionalism, it just blew my mind. It literally blew my mind, because I had been working with people who were like me, who were not completely in the industry yet, and just trying to make it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And to be working with someone who has, first of all, just the connections alone are insane. And the talent, just like I said, the professionalism, it changes you. Being in a state of trying to make it, trying to better myself, to be in the industry and working with that, I'm changed. I've completely changed since then. Since 2021, whenever I first reached out to them. Oh man, my mixing changed. I used to mix in a way that was very sharp. It would be so high with treble that it would hurt the ears. And ever since then, my mixing has been so leveled out to where it sounds a professional grade now. And I've just taken so many notes. I've literally just, my whole essence has changed. I feel like I'm on a different level. I feel like I've grown a ton because of working with such a professional environment.
That's probably what you're supposed to feel, and probably where you're supposed to go when you're working with folks who've been in the industry that way. So
yeah, it's like an earthquake a little bit. Like, whoa, okay. Wow.
me, what's next for you? What should we expect to hear or next, or should we expect to see you perform live somewhere, or what do you got on the horizon of Smiles for us? Yeah.
Well, as the ambassador of Smiles, I will be releasing a song on September 9th this year. So that will be the first ever song I release of a new genre that I've never done.
Okay.
So it'll be a completely new genre than I've ever released or done publicly under my brand.
Are you going to give us a hint, or?
It is definitely something that I'm not going to say what it is yet, but it is something. I am not a natural born pop singer. I acquired that from training. My natural born talent for singing is a certain genre that is in the same realm as musical theater, but it is not musical theater.
All right. Well, maybe if we follow you on, what's your favorite social media program? Is it Instagram?
It is Instagram. I'm always on Instagram, always. And
maybe if we follow, what's your Instagram handle? What is it?
It is my name. It is MAEVEDEVOE. Nate DeVoe. And I am on every single social platform. I think I'm even on Tumblr, but I'm on everything. And so if you have a preference, if you prefer the new Threads, I'm on Threads as well.
Do you like it? Do you like the new Threads?
I don't know. I mean, like everyone says that they're addicted to it, like to where they can't get off of it. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I just like Instagram more. I mean, I was around whenever Instagram first came out, whenever it first took off. And so I've always had that like connection to it. I remember Snapchat coming out, you know.
It's integrated. Instagram and Threads is integrated, right? I've been enjoying Threads. I thought it was kind of refreshing. It's got a nice user interface.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have all the restrictions that Twitter's been having lately. And that's a big mess, Twitter. Twitter's a big mess.
Yes, it feels very clean. You know, it feels like a clean slate for society and social media. You know, it feels like a new opportunity.
I digressed a little bit here. So if they follow you on Instagram, which is your favorite, are you going to drop some hints between now and September on that song? Are you going to be giving us breadcrumbs or threads? Are you going to give us threads?
Oh, I actually posted a few days ago, or maybe yesterday, a teaser of a song I'm releasing next year. I always like to drop out little teasers as I'm mixing them, because I'm constantly recording and mixing songs. I literally, just this week, I mean, I've recorded 4 songs and I've mixed 3. I'm just pumping these things out, and they at the highest level too. So I love to tease them as I work on them. So yeah, you will definitely hear some little teasers. You'll see a little bit of a teaser of the artwork for the single cover. And I'm very excited for this one. This is going to be so fun.
Are we gonna have like a crown on the cover of the song, or like a tiara?
Everything that I do for my covers, or like the artwork covers, I try and incorporate my princess brand and my crowns and stuff. I know that with like Determinate, it does not have a crown on it at all, I think, but that was for a special occasion. That's for a competition actually. But it just might. And maybe I will be wearing it.
Oh.
Maybe I will be wearing it.
Now you've got a ton of cool merch on your site. You've got a Make Me Smile shirt. You've got rainbows, suns, and clouds.
Yeah.
You got DeVoe number 9.
Oh yeah, it's my Team Peach.
And that's on maevedevoe.card.co. I'll put that in the show notes so folks will have access to that. A great looking website too. Looks
Thank
like
you.
it's a
I did it
fun site.
myself.
Really?
I
Design?
update it. I update it all the time with like, I used to update it to whenever I released a song, the whole theme of the website would change to the theme of the song. Like for Big Time, it was just Disco City. It was all purple and rainbow and all that kind of stuff.
Maeve, did you go to school for this?
For website design?
Yeah.
No, I just kind of winged it.
Nice.
I just kind of went for it.
Are you doing other school stuff?
I am actually right now. I am taking meteorology class, a summer mini-mester at Harvard. I am doing it online because I cannot go there in person right now. Like I said, I'm doing about 4 songs a week. And so I can't go there in person, but I did. Wow. I am able to take these classes and I'm learning about the atmospheric science. You know, it's really awesome. It's something I've loved ever since I was little. And I'm finally getting to know.
You seem very diverse and very open to learning new things and trying new things. And it seems like you're finding success in all these different things. Maybe where's the best place to buy your music?
Well, like I said, I'm on every single platform, every single streaming service. My personal favorite is iTunes. I do not have a Spotify premium account, so I can't really like listen to music on there. So I'm on iTunes, but I am on everything. So if you prefer Deezer,
are you an Apple princess, or is that where you are? All right. That's okay.
I prefer, I know this is controversial. I prefer Apple products.
No, you know what? It's a preference, right? Like I've been now, Apple for,
it sucks you in.
Over a decade, right?
Yeah.
But I'm happy. Everything's like really integrated and
I love it.
It does what I needed to do. That's at the end of the day, it does what I needed to do.
Yeah, all the stuff I produce is on Logic Pro, and that's only in Apple software.
Yeah, awesome. Right on. Maeve, I want to thank you for doing this with me and for being here with the audience. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with before you get back to your music and your web and your Harvard classes and your crowns? You're a busy princess. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with?
Oh, definitely a quote from my song Zoosh It Up, which I'm not going to go into the whole Zoosh It Up spiel because it's a big deal to me, but be someone, live your life, be who you want to be. Don't be who you think you should be who you want to be. Zoosh it up and let's make the world smile.
We have been threading with Maeve DeVoe, our real-life peachy princess, electro pop star, charting new territory with music hits worldwide. You can hear her hits on car radio on thepathradio.com. I'll have all her contact info in the show notes. Maeve, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that we can catch up with you again.
Thank you so much. I've had so much fun. This is so fun. Thank you.
Me too, Maeve. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Let's have a listen to Maeve DeVoe's current hit song. Here is Car Radio.
When the funky feeling kicking in, tempo playing on repeat. Happiness comes from within, but you know everything in life cannot go right. But at least I got somebody by my side. And when the stars don't settle, I know I settle down for you. And the song don't stop, I'm back to zero. And when the stars don't settle, I know I settle down for you. And the song don't stop, I'm back to zero. Moving with you, girl. Travel around the world. Car radio, I can get over you. Moving with you, girl. Travel around the world. Car radio, I can get over you.
When the funky feeling kicking in, Apple playing
happy. Happiness comes from nothing but you know. Everything in life cannot go right, but at least I got somebody by my side. Oh, when the stars don't settle, I know I settle down for you. And the sun don't stop, I'm back to zero. Oh, when the stars don't settle, I know I settle down for you. And the sun don't stop, I'm back to zero.
Moving with you, girl. Travel around the world. Car radio, I can get over you.
Moving with you, boy, I never get annoyed. Car radio, I can get over you.
When I look into the galaxy,
No other place I'd rather be. I know we were meant to be for right now. Everything in life cannot go right, but at least I got somebody by my side.
moving with you, girl. Travel around the world. Car radio, I can get over you.
Moving with you, boy, I never get annoyed. Car radio, I can get over you.
Moving with you, girl.
That is Maeve DeVoe with Graham Hart and their hit song Car Radio. You can hear it on thepathradio.com, currently on the charts.
Car radio, I can get over you.
That was a lot of fun with Maeve and hearing her hit song there and learning a little bit more about her. Hopefully you check her website and content out. Now for our next segment, I want to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. There's been a lot of hype about that lately with things called Chat GPT and is it good, is it bad? But I want to look at it from a health perspective. So let's listen to an article that I'm going to read you that's over on guidoprino.com and give you some insights on artificial intelligence and your health. Artificial intelligence is transforming the medical community in many ways, from improving diagnosis and treatment to enhancing patient care and safety. Let's explore some of the positive impacts of AI on the medical community and how it can benefit both health professionals and patients. One of the main benefits of AI is its ability to analyze large amounts of data and extract meaningful insights. This can help doctors and researchers to make better decisions, find new patterns, and discover new treatments. For example, AI can help diagnose diseases such as cancer, Alzheimer's, and COVID-19 by analyzing images, scans, or genetic data. One study found that an AI system could detect breast cancer from mammograms with higher accuracy than human radiologists. Another study showed that an AI algorithm could identify Alzheimer's disease from brain scans up to 6 years before clinical diagnosis. A third study demonstrated that an AI model could diagnose COVID-19 from chest X-rays with 96% accuracy. AI can also help predict outcomes such as the risk of complications, mortality, or relapse by using data from electronic health records, clinical trials, or wearable devices. For instance, an AI tool could predict the risk of sepsis in hospitalized patients and alert clinicians to intervene early. Another AI system could forecast the survival of patients with heart failure and help optimize their treatment. A third AI application could monitor the heart rate and oxygen saturation of COVID-19 patients at home and notify doctors if they need urgent care. Another benefit of AI is its ability to augment human capabilities and assist health professionals in their tasks. For example, AI can help surgeons perform complex operations with more precision and accuracy by providing guidance, feedback, or robotic assistance. One example is the Da Vinci surgical system, which uses AI to enable surgeons to operate through small incisions with enhanced vision, dexterity, and control. Another example is the Mako robotic arm assisted surgery system, which uses AI to plan and execute partial or total knee replacements with less pain and faster recovery.
A third example is the Butterfly IQ device, which uses AI to turn any smartphone into an ultrasound machine that can scan any part of the body. AI can also help nurses monitor patients' vital signs, alert them to any changes, or provide them with reminders or suggestions. For example, one that many people use today is an AI-powered smartwatch that could detect atrial fibrillation and prompt them to seek medical attention. Another AI-enabled device could measure blood pressure from the finger and send that data to a cloud platform for analysis and feedback. A third AI solution could be voice recognition and natural language processing to transcribe nurses' notes and reduce their documentation burden. A third benefit of AI is its ability to improve patient care and safety by providing personalized and proactive services. For example, AI can help patients manage their chronic conditions such as diabetes or hypertension by providing them with tailored advice, coaching, or interventions. One example is the Livongo platform, which uses AI to collect and analyze data from glucose meters, blood pressure cuffs, or weight scales and provide personalized insights and guidance to patients with diabetes or hypertension. Another example is the Omada Health program, which uses AI to deliver online behavioral counseling and support to patients with obesity or prediabetes. A third example is the Lark app, which uses AI to chat with patients and help them track their diet, exercise, sleep, and medication adherence. AI can also help patients access health information, book appointments, or communicate with their doctors through chat bots or voice assistants. For example, an AI chatbot called Babylon Health could answer health-related questions, triage symptoms, or schedule consultations with doctors. Another AI voice assistant called Nuance Dragon Medical One could allow patients to speak their medical history or concerns and generate a summary for their doctors. A third AI service called Ada Health could use conversational AI to assess patients' health status and provide personalized advice or referrals. AI can also help patients prevent diseases or detect them early by using sensors, wearables, or smart devices. For example, an AI-powered skin cancer app called Skin Vision could scan moles or lesions and estimate their risk of malignancy. Another AI-enabled smart toilet could analyze urine or stool samples and detect signs of infection or disease. A third AI-based wearable device called Aura Ring could measure body temperature, heart rate, variability, and sleep quality and alert users to potential signs of illness. AI is having a positive impact on the medical community by enhancing diagnosis and treatment, augmenting human capabilities, and improving patient care and safety. AI is not a threat to replace human doctors or nurses, but rather a tool to complement and empower them. By embracing AI, the medical community can achieve better outcomes, lower costs, and higher satisfaction for both health professionals and patients. This is an opinion article by me, Guido Prino of the Monthly Social Podcast. It may also be heard on the Path Radio Mix online. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that segment on artificial intelligence and your health. I know there's been a lot of hype around artificial intelligence. Some folks are worried about it's going to take over the human race, and it makes them nervous, and I get it. It's something new, it's something different, but there's a lot of good that it can do if we use it in the right way. And as we educate ourselves about topics like this, I think it's important that we find the right resources, because there's a lot of information online, and there's been a lot of misinformation, if you will, online. And I wrote an article actually about misinformation and disinformation over on guidoprino.com/blog. And I think it's a worthwhile read so that you understand the difference between those things, so that we don't feed into the divisiveness, but work towards collaboration, supporting each other, lifting each other up, helping each other understand and cope with the different changes that are happening around us. Look, I think I want to echo something that I've heard from guests for the last few months here on the Monthly Social. And whether they are children or professionals or authors or the whole span of them have been saying one common thing more than I've ever heard it before. And let's consider this my summer message into the year end, right? Is this: if you can do this the rest of the year, be kind to one another. Find ways to help someone other than yourself. Give more than you take. Give without the expectation that you're going to receive something. Give to be able to help somebody, whether it's a family member or a friend or maybe even someone you don't know. Celebrate each other. Celebrate each other's successes and support one another. If you know someone who has a business, be there for them. Don't be jealous. Help promote them. Be there for them the way that you'd want them to be there for you. Whether it's a family member or a friend, or if it's your employer, make life easier for people, not harder. Be kind. We're in this world together. Help each other out more than tear each other down. If you're going to lift yourself up, don't tear somebody down in the process. Make them look as good as you want to look. Be kind to each other. On that note, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe summer. Look forward to reconnecting in the fall. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the show. I hope you're enjoying it. Now, I want to leave you with a high energy song, something that we can do together as we join Chris Mclernon and his band Kinell and Take It All.
Don't ever push a man with his back to the wall. He's got nowhere to go, and you can only fall. Let him have his freedom, let him find his place. He can keep his pride, let him save his face. It's easy.
Do you have a special connection with your voice? Are you curious about voice acting but don't know where to start? I'm Lili Wexu, a Los Angeles-based voice actress, and I would love to get you started on the right foot. Join me at getcleveraboutvo.com/sign-up and get a discount on my voice acting ebooks. They're like a backstage pass to my voiceover business, so you can cut to the chase, piggyback on my success, and start on the right foot. That's getcleveraboutvo.com/sign-up.